told myself I wasn't going to actually, um, I wasn't going to actually fucking, um, record this on YouTube. I mean, record this on the Spaces. But I guess it's a force of habit. Okay, we got a lot of shit to cover here. A lot. And I just want to tell you welcome to, what do we call this show? Tinfoil Cat Show. That's what we call it. I totally forgot my own show name. Tinfoil Cat. Welcome to the Tinfoil Cat. And we got some crazy shit that has been going on that I would like to talk about. While we do so, I gotta fold all my clothes. I haven't folded these bitches in a month. And I'm gonna need to do this shit because guess what? I'm in my new place, and that shit is not kosher. So anyway, got some topics to talk about here. The first topic will be, well, it looks like Sony is obsessed with AAA games. And one of the ways that we know that Sony is obsessed with AAA games is because they closed down, was it Pixel Opus Studio? I believe they did Concrete Genie, which was a alleged cult classic, right? That's what everybody keeps saying. It was a classic that everybody liked, and it sold billions and billions of fucking copies, except it didn't. It didn't sell anything like that. It actually didn't sell at all. But yet, here we go with the people capping like a motherfucker about some game that they didn't pick up. We got news reporters, news people in general. They're all stating, oh my gosh, it's such a shame. How could Sony get rid of them? I'm so tired of AAA games. And that's all Sony seems to be chasing. They're chasing all this money when you could be making AA or single A indie games. Except that's not what you want really, because when Sony did have showcases for indie games, you guys were pissed off with them, if I recall correctly, stating that, where are the AAA games? Who wants to see this? Why are they showing indie games? This looks boring. Yawn, 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 right? All the Z's in the chat. That's what I remember. I remember that distinctly. Unfortunately, that's what it looks like everybody is they're hitting for, right? It really is a shame, because the outcome of what Sony is doing is directly in correlation to what you guys are asking for. That in itself is a shame, because I mean, you guys are asking for it. You are literally asking Sony for more AAA games, and then when Sony provides the AAA games, you guys are hypercritical about these said AAA games. It plays like a Ubisoft game. It's not hitting as well. It's too cinematic and all this other shit. That's what you guys be saying about the shit. So what is a company to do if you guys legitimately, right? If you guys legitimately don't want AAA games but do want it, it's like, what do you, like, I am, as a onlooker, confused as to what you guys will want. I don't even know. And if I don't know, my swimming trunks. Yes. You get over there. Paid all that money just for fucking more swimming trunks, man. Son of a bitch. But either way, I found it. Anyway, so if I'm confused as to what Sony should do, then I'm sure that Sony themselves is very confused. I'm sure they don't know what the fuck's going on. I mean, it's very hard to really try to figure out what the average person would literally want. I remember, right? You remember, what do you call that game? Returnal, right? You remember when Returnal came out and everybody was just like, I don't know if it's worth $70. It doesn't look like it's a AAA game. It looks more like a AA game. Y'all remember that shit, right? That's what everybody consistently brought up about Returnal because it came out for $70 and it didn't look like it was a $70 game. That was, if I recall correctly, that's what everybody was kind of complaining about. And it came out, and I believe, although it wasn't bad, it didn't sell what people. It's not in alignment with what people are asking for. Let's just put it that way. Because if that was the case, it would have sold a lot more. I believe it sold like 1 million. And that shit is a fucking travesty to me. Sold like 1 million at the time of release when the PS5 had like, I don't know, it had, what did it have? Like 20 million, something like that, right? Had about 20 million user base. And then literally, only 1 million people bought that shit. Ain't that something? Ain't that a bitch? I will be the first person to tell you, right, that Returnal looks like a AA game. It doesn't have crazy cutscenes all over the place. There's a small narrative that you can follow, right? No better than, like, I don't know, Stray, right, in terms of narrative. They have procedurally generated things as well, right? So you would imagine, if you were to look at this shit, that it's like literally like a AA game. And then a lot of the fans, right? And I always have a beef with the PlayStation fans because they tend to be hypocrites and they tend to contradict everything. Like everything that you could possibly contradict with, you contradict. And that's the thing that kind of pisses me off about this, man. It's frustrating to me. It really is. It is super frustrating to me when let me take a look here. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see here. Here we go. It's frustrating to me that with all of this being said, right, the PlayStation fans are the most vocal when it comes to a studio closing down. And I think I have a theory as to what's going on when it comes to shit like this. Like, you know, the actual theory of why a PlayStation fan, because there's other theories that states that they were these people that are most vocal about PlayStation, they're not really PlayStation fans. What they really are is Xbox that converted over to the PlayStation because they had no other choice. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I do personally believe that these guys are coming from the PS3 era. And they bought the console for maybe Final Fantasy or whatever the console had to offer was they decided to stick with it, right? And in the midst of them sticking with it, they've gotten ridiculed by the media and everybody else, saying that the online sucked, right? You know, there was no dedicated servers and all this other shit. That's what I believe happened. And eventually, they became so invested in that, right? Things started to turn around. Sony kept throwing shit at a wall, and eventually things stuck. And stuck it did. Sony threw a whole bunch of multiplayer games and all sorts of manner of games out. And then eventually it stuck. Something stuck. It resonated with a whole bunch of other people. And people realized, oh shit, what is this game? I actually kind of like this game. This game has a storyline that rivals like movies. And then Sony released another one, and it stuck. A lot of people bought it, and another one, and another one. So the games that Sony made, right, were directly in correlation to what they're responding to what you purchased. That's what that is. And most people that stuck to the PS3 responded to story-driven games. And the quality was really high, and the graphics were like beyond a lot of the shit that was on the market at the time. Stuff like Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima. Oh, let me go backwards. I'm sorry. Killzones, both of the Killzones, the Uncharted games. All of those games has insane graphics, and they have narrative value. And those games are the ones that sold because they justified the price of the PS3 and the price of the games and their justification of the actual game. The actual console. They could run around and say that this is the reason why I bought a PS3. I bought it because the graphics. I bought it because the games are like really high in quality. That's why I bought it. Okay. But it looks like that's the thing. That's the thing. So that's why I believe that spilled over to the PS4. And they further solidified it with the God of War and The Last of Us Part 2 and the Ghost of Tsushima and the Spider-Man and all these other games. It all came together. All that shit came together. And it worked. It absolutely worked. Now, PlayStation is heavily known for AAA high production value games. That tradition has been passed on at this point in time. It's a tradition that has been passed on. So many people that stuck with the PS3 went through the PS4, and now with the PS5, they value Sony in their AAA games, and they expect AAA games from Sony, and they don't expect anything less than AAA. So when Sony presents a AA game, it is met with wild criticism. People are like, I do not want this shit. That's not what I paid for a PS5 for. I paid for a PS5 because I'm looking for the highest quality. That's what I'm looking for. And Sony, you're not delivering it. There's been many times where Sony will hold a press conference or any of those conferences, right? Show a AA game and people just didn't like it. It'd be just what happened. And now, the same thing happened again and again and again. People don't understand business. People are super selfish. You know, they act like Sony is a corporation that will literally consider thousands of people when they are, as a business, they need to consider millions of people. And you can't please everybody. And I think Sony is starting to learn that too, by the way. You can't please everybody. You just can't. There's just no way that you can please everybody and everybody will like your shit. It's just not going to happen. It isn't going to happen. But you got these people that are in these pockets, right? That will sit there and say, listen, Sony, why are you closing down these studios, such as like Japan Studio, for instance, right? Japan Studios, when they were making their games, guess what? They were making bangers on the PS2 era. PS3 era, their output dropped drastically, like super, super drastic. They were making things like Tokyo Jungle and shit like that when the entire industry were moving towards AAA. And guess what? As much as people like AA games and indie and the whole indie scene, they were full of shit. Because ultimately, they didn't buy those games. Any of those AA games or single A games with low budgets, low production values. I shouldn't say values. Low budgets, I should say. None of them were purchased like that. 100,000, maybe $1 million. Maybe. That's the only time that you got people. When the games were released, no one bought it. So what do you want Sony to do? Waste money? And believe it or not, people will sit there and tell you to your face, yes, I want Sony to waste money. Cater to me. Cater to me. I don't want to cater. I don't. Ooh, hideous. What's going on? Not bad. What's going on, bro?
How you doing, my friend? You know, I just seen
Yo, I swear to God, if you mention about a fucking
Man,
Xbox, I'm gonna
listen.
lose my shit.
No, no, I'm gonna be right on track with you, my friend. Because trust me, I see that you want to talk about Sony obsessed with AAA, and which I am glad they are because I feel that's what brings consumer to their ecosystem.
Well,
You know,
that's what I
and
thought.
whenever they do, it shows like how can I say like it motivates us to like want to tell not just I can't say just the audience, but like we us as a fan base, we want to let Sony know like listen, when's the next showcase? When is the next showcase? Because I feel like whenever they deliver us a showcase, it always be a one to the point where it's like we're like waiting for a whole new movie to be played. And that's why I just adore the soul out of Sony, man. I love them to death when it comes to AAA.
See, the funny thing is when it comes to all of these supposed quote unquote fanboys, right? This is the problem with the fanboys. I mentioned this earlier. Sometimes I got to repeat myself because you guys are jumping in and stuff like that. The thing about Sony, I look, people understand that they are in it, meaning the PlayStation ecosystem, because wait, they are in it because of PS3. That's what they're in it for. They're in it for the PS3. The PS3 was the bee's knees of production. Sony invested so much money to turn the tides for people to actually buy their content. They tried to make the highest of the highest quality, as high as they could possibly make it. And they succeeded, but at the same time, they created this narrative that, Sony is only doing narrative driven games. That's pretty much it. You
You
know?
know, and that's the thing that kind of baffled me is where people like to say like these how can I say those story driven games are relevant to this day. Like where are you getting
You said
this? Not
are or are not.
are saying it. Like it's like they feel like story games is not what it is anymore. Like people's not gonna play story games. Like okay, kids like that's coming up right now, they're not gonna want to play story games. Well, how do we know that? Because
Well,
I didn't.
here's the thing though. The same thing. Look, they say that we shouldn't be playing multiplayer games, but multiplayer games is the thing that fucking sells. They say that no DLC, DLC, nobody wants that, but yet DLC keeps making record profits. They say a lot of things, but let me get this off real quick, and I'll let you do your thing. All I'm saying is this, because I want to address the hypocrites, the Sony hypocrites that sit there and complain about a fucking studio that closed down that most likely didn't buy their game, didn't have an interest in it. The only reason why you gave a fuck about this particular studio is because of the numbers games. They're like these people are still holding grudges from back in the PS3 era when everybody laughed at them for picking up a PS3. They're still holding these grudges, all of them. They're holding these grudges. They're upset and they're trying to get back at everybody that said that they were stupid for buying the PS3 for a lot of reasons, such as the PS3 was big, it was a George Foreman grill, the graphics were worse. They actually said that they were stuffing technology down their throats. You're overpaying for the console. Your online sucks. All that shit. And now, you know, revenge is sweet. But the thing is, they want an absolute fucking win over over uh, uh, over any competition. So they become concern police, right? The only reason why they care about this Opus fucking studio is because it's one less studio that they can sit there and say, "This is why I chose it." It's one less studio. One less studio. That's the only reason why they're saying this shit. Because any other time, they wouldn't have given a fuck. I've spoken to a couple of people that was literally pissed off about Sony closing down Japan studios, and while I didn't like that. I was kind of pissed off with that
You know, that's
myself.
crazy that you mentioned
Well,
that
hold
because
on,
I
wait a
think
minute, wait a minute,
my
wait a
bad, my
minute.
bad.
I was upset with that, the Japanese studio, when they closed down. But I understood it. They were kind of making big ass bangers back then. They were already on the cinematic train. Back then, they were on that cinematic train. That's the crazy thing about it, right? They were on that fucking train. And then I guess the PS5 I'm sorry, the PS4 was just too fucking difficult for them. It was too difficult for them to actually make games for. And eventually, it was just like one of those things where, well, it was too much of a but. They weren't used to that type of way of making games. The quality dropped off so dramatically for for Japan studios. Every fucking generation, it just got worse and worse. It got bad. You know what I mean? They were making Shadow of the Colossus, Ico, and all this other shit, right? First, they were making RPGs all over the place. That didn't work. Then they were doing the creative stuff like Shadow of the Colossus and stuff like that. That kind of worked. And then the PS3 generation, they were a support group because they could barely do what they could do. And the quality dropped. They were making fucking Tokyo Jungle, which is like a single A game. You know what I'm saying? So the Tokyo Jungle shit, that just plummeted. And then, like, they didn't make anything for mad long. People give them credit for Bloodborne, but they barely did anything for Bloodborne. No matter how much people want to sit there and cap for that shit, they barely did anything for Bloodborne. They just didn't do that much. There was an idea, and then Miyazaki kind of followed through with it, but they didn't have a lot of artists working from that. You can look at the fucking credits and see that. So you didn't make that many games. Your games flopped. Nobody picked them up. People can sit there and argue, well, the only reason why they didn't is because nobody purchased it because Sony didn't market it. Sony marketed the shit out of Gravity Rush on the Vita, and they marketed the Vita too, as well. It flopped. With the fucking Gravity Rush 2, they literally released the fucking demo for everybody to play. People wasn't feeling it. It didn't have that polish. It flopped. The part of the reason, and they closed it. You know, you got Evolution Studios. They got fucking closed down because they made MotorStorm Apocalypse. MotorStorm Apocalypse came out. It was a fucking disaster.
Probably 2012, 2013. But
yeah, it was a disaster on for a lot of reasons. That fucking tsunami happened, and that game was based off of apocalyptic events. And they had to ban it, and then the PSN went down. Sony gave them another chance. And within that, they fucked up on fucking Drive Club when it was uncertain that the PS4 was even going to have a successor. They fucked up so royally, and then they tried to salvage it, and then you still fucked up with it. The game didn't sell. And part of the reason why it didn't sell is because for some reason, Sony built up a reputation so strongly that people have crazier expectations than anything. You look at it, right? Ghost of Tsushima should have not been rated anything less than a 90. The game didn't... Huh?
No, I say, I truly agree, because that game was way, way, way fire than Last of Us 2.
Well, I ain't going to talk about that. But what I want to say is the game didn't release with any bugs. It had a great story. It had great combat. It had great graphics. It just covered the gamut. And people were like, I'm going to rate it at 82. And then you have other games that was broken to hell. And then you gave it a 90? It just, to me, it doesn't make any sense. You give it a 90, 92, or whatever the case is, based off because it's not old enough. Like, you got to be in the game as an IP long enough before you can actually get a higher ratings. Like, the whole rating system is so fucking flimsy. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, that translates into the fans. The fans also have this expectation of nothing but quality. That's why when they have these, I'm about to let you speak too. That's why when they have these showcases and events, what do you see if they start announcing AA games? Z's all over the place. What is this? Where's the games at? Sony can show you 5 fucking AA titles in a row, and people will be like, where are the games at? Unless they see high story-driven, crazy graphics, they don't want it. And so that this flimsy ass fucking community wants nothing but AAA games. And then they cry about a studio of 20 people closing, or a studio that hasn't been functional or operational for 10 fucking years, or a studio like Zipper Interactive that didn't handle their MAD game or didn't handle their SOCOM 4 game properly. You know what I mean? SOCOM was already an established IP, and you decided to go third. I think it was first person. I don't remember. I think it was third person, and then you made it action packed. You literally ignored what made SOCOM, and you fucked up with that one. And then you released the game on the Vita, and that fucking flopped. And then people got mad about that. People didn't really get mad about Zipper Interactive, though. That's interesting because it doesn't follow the story-driven pattern. But this fucking Magnum, or not Magnum, the fucking Pixel Opus shit. Why does Sony cared about double? They don't care about this shit. Why they need more Japanese games? And you look at it, it's like the market spoke. You guys don't want it. I'm looking at your responses. You literally said that I don't want this. Z's all over the place. When Sony did make a AA game, which I would consider Returnal a AA game, it's almost perfect. That is my favorite game this generation, despite Horizon or anything. That is literally my favorite game this generation. Almost a perfect fucking game, and none of the fucking PlayStation fanboys bought it because it was either too hard. But then you could pick up fucking the Souls games because third party doesn't have that type of rhetoric about being perfect and shit like that. You could deal with a game that's broken because the media told you that it was good. But when it comes to Returnal, you scratching your fucking head. I don't really want that game. Sony doesn't support AA games. Returnal is not a story-driven fucking with cutscenes every fucking 5 seconds and you squeezing through walls. It is literally a AA game. And people are like, oh, I can't pay that. Oh, I can't pay that. But that when it comes to fanboys and bigger games, oh, you got to support your developers. But y'all didn't fucking support it. I'm just so sick of dumbass fucking fanboys. That's why I don't like none of them. I don't like any fanboy of any kind. They're all fucking irrational to me. I love my PlayStation, but I'm not in it with like these other corny ass fans. They're corny to me.
You know, I think Twitter is the main reason why people start to lose their mind when it comes to what is right and wrong. Because you just mentioned like you hate these fanboys, and I feel like we witness these fanboys basically off of Twitter, and that's where we sense them. If it wasn't to where, and I'm not saying if Twitter wasn't existing, I feel like back then, gaming was just fun compared to nowadays. And we can all agree to that. It really was. We didn't have to worry about if the game was going to be complete, waiting for downloads to improve the gameplay and stuff like that. Like, games used to just be finished back then. I don't know what happened to that strategy. I really don't know.
The games are large. They're much larger. They have much more assets. They're a bigger game. They're much bigger. That's why I get releasing patches day one because you have the ability to do it. And you're not going to have everything perfect. I totally understand that. But gaming has inflated so much that people literally just want movies and cinematic universes and shit like that. And that's what Sony is trying to provide. But the thing is, going back to this fucking studio that was closed, most of these people had no investment with this fucking studio. Now, someone called me out, supposedly, and said that, why do I care about Nintendo? Why do you care about Nintendo if you don't have a Switch? You're not even invested in Nintendo games. And to his response, I said I did have a Switch. I returned it. It didn't have anything that I wanted. Oh, you talking about it because you returned it? I mean, you don't even have it. Yeah, because what they had, I wasn't interested in. I'm supposed to keep it? Because I like just to prove to some Twitter fucking people. Why would I keep it if I don't want it? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand. Like if somebody told you that this restaurant was a 5-star restaurant and they gave you this plate of food and this shit was nasty as fuck, what are you supposed to do? Eat it and pay for it and say it's nasty? Like I don't have to fucking do that. I got this apartment. Right? I didn't need to live in this apartment to figure out if I wanted it or not. I did a little sample. I looked around the environments, and I decided I'll pull the trigger. I don't need to live here to decide do I want another year or not. Like you can do demos and samples. You don't need to have the fucking console or have the game and beat it or platinum it or 100% the game before you realize, you know what, that wasn't my thing. It's just
Exactly.
I see. The thing is, what the person was trying to do is catch me in a gotcha moment. The gotcha moment being, you don't have it, and you're not even invested in it. So why do you care about it? Well, guess what? I actually do care about Nintendo. I, and the reason why I'm talking about this is we're talking about fanboys. I personally want Nintendo to do well so they can make better games. I'm not going to pick up a fucking Switch or anything else if they decide to do the most bare minimum fucking hardware, bare minimum fucking gameplay, bare minimum fucking graphics, and I'm supposed to keep it. I mean, I'm supposed to just buy it. It's you motherfuckers that stifle the fucking growth of it. Because Pokemon wouldn't have been that way if you would have been pissed and didn't buy that shit. If the numbers dropped, they would have to default to make it a better quality game or better quality graphics. And yes, I want graphics. If I didn't want graphics, I could have stuck with my PlayStation 1 and kept it the fuck moving. I bought a PS5 for the next generation experience. Or and people buy a Series X or a PC for next generation experience. That's what they buy it for. Like, why criticize somebody because they want better? I want Nintendo to be great so I could pick up their fucking console. It's not
Exactly.
beyond me that I didn't pick it up. I mean, I picked up Nintendo consoles. I had a GameCube. I had a Game Boy Color. I had a Game Boy Pocket. I had a Game Boy Advance. I almost got a fucking Virtual Boy back then. It ain't like it's beyond me to get a Nintendo game or a console. Their latest consoles were just shit, and their games were just wasn't to my liking. I can't call it shit, but I didn't want it. And I tell you that. So fanboys do irrational things. That's what pisses me off about this whole thing. All of this shit is super irrational. The stuff that the stuff, and I'm going back to the PlayStation people. These motherfuckers claim that they wanted AA games. You didn't want it. Tokyo Jungle would have been one. Fucking Gravity Rush 1 and 2. The Last Guardian. All those games would have done.
Don't forget about Neck.
Who?
Neck.
Neck was like
one,
Neck was built into like I think the packages and stuff like that. That's why I didn't mention it. But like either way, yeah. But I'll include it. Neck. Y'all didn't fucking want it. And if you say that, well, Neck didn't review well. Well, you know what else didn't review well? Fucking Concrete Genie and the other game that they made. They didn't review well. If they're not going to produce quality, they are up out of there. Period. Anyway, I'm done talking about that. What you got to say about everything in that particular topic that we can move on to the next?
No, really.
No, you jumped in there.
I mean, it is kind of shocking that, people are upset that Sony is closing down studios. Well, a studio where nobody wasn't really engaged into those particular games that they were delivering. So it's like, at least Sony was how can I say, instead of just laying people off, they at least just shut the studio down. If nobody's not gonna buy my games, why do I need to be relevant?
They gave him a chance. They gave him a chance, and exactly. Yeah, they were hiring, but who knows what that title looked like? It could have looked like hot ass, and they were looking like, you know what? I gave you time. I said, come up with something within a year or 2 years. Let me see what your concept was. They came up with a concept that looked stupid. You know what I mean? Now everybody's like, Media Molecule's next. Oh no. Well, if they are next, guess what? It was deserved. I guarantee you, Sony is not closing down studios that were successful. I promise you that.
Nope. And I'm gonna tell you what else they doing. They shuffling the team around so that those people can have, still have their jobs and still provide for their families. For the people, if they got slots and stuff open.
Hold on, DJ. They're not doing this shit for a charity, my dude. I mean, if they're successful in that group, if they were the most talented of that group, yeah, Sony's going to use them like any other company. But they're not they're not doing no charity case. If you're not, if you're a lazy, I'm sorry, that's what it is. I only say that. I have to preface this shit because people think that Sony as a corporation is their friend. Same thing with Xbox. They're not your friend.
No.
They want your fucking money.
Hell no. And that's it goes back to what I always say. people don't realize Sony and Nintendo run a tight ship. They don't be like you right. They don't be playing. And but the thing with Xbox is their business model is a little bit
Oh,
different.
we'll get to them in a
Yeah.
second.
But they
Before you go on, what do you want to say about this topic? This particular topic?
but
I'm running a tight. I'm running a tight ship.
type ship. I heard that. I feel that. And you know, like I said, I gotta cook with you in the DM on some of them on some of them past episodes because you really be cooking and certain stuff I don't be like talk about out front on the internet. But anyway, no, I'm for real because when you had the MGS episode, like because of my line of work, I can't really I couldn't cook with you like I wanted to cook with you, so that's why I was kind of stumbling that episode. But this right here, Sony has been obsessed with that from the jump. You know why? Because Nintendo triple crossed them. You know what I'm saying? They triple crossed them in the beginning. So it's always and for real, Nintendo was looked down upon because of that. Because in Japan they about honor, they about respect, they about honoring your word. So that's why
I get you, but hold on before you go on. What does that have to do with this particular subject?
That's why they're obsessed with doing. That's why they're obsessed with doing AAA games, right? That's why
they are obsessed with doing AAA games because that's what the market told them that they wanted. That's the point of this particular topic. Mm-hmm. The market told them to make AAA games. When Sony made when Sony was fucking up with the PS3, Sony released an assortment of all different types of games. Mm-hmm. That's what Sony did.
And then they kept what people like, and then they made stuff that was similar to what people like, and it's been working for them. That's the thing.
Well, that's really what it boils down to. Regardless of people getting pissed off, why does Sony keep making AAA games? Why the fuck are you buying it then? Because that's what they're responding to.
Exactly.
You get mad at it because guess what? When Sony has a showcase, and if they show some AA games or indie games, y'all don't want to hear it. Z's all over the place, and then you don't buy it on top of it. I already gave you an example for the most recent AA game, which was Returnal. The PlayStation fanboys are always talking about supporting your developers. I don't mind paying $70. And guess what? Sony makes an assortment of crazy different games, and they do support AA games. And then when they release Returnal, guess what? Y'all didn't buy it. Y'all talk about y'all want hard games and games that challenge you, and then games that don't make you walk into a crack, and then you have to force walk and listen to dialogue and shit like that. Well, Sony gave it to you with this Returnal thing. Guess what y'all guys did? It's too hard. I don't understand why I can't save the game. I can't play a game for 2 straight hours. I don't got the time for that. I got kids to feed. I got work tomorrow. I can only buy this game if you give me a save option, and it literally breaks the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
I mean, that's
when before you go on, when PS3 happened, Sony had multiplayer games, indie games like Fat Princess. They were doing a whole bunch of crazy shit. You know what stuck? The Last of Us, Killzone. Sony was like, okay, I think I see where this is going. Let's try Killzone 2. That's so okay. Let's try Uncharted 2. And then that shit exploded. Let's try God of War. That really exploded. Then it was like, let's try The Last of Us. That really exploded. And then everybody was like, oh, snap. So now Sony was like, okay, so it looks like people want this. So let me go ahead and when the PS4 comes out, worry about those things. Spider-Man, that shit explode up. Yeah. Oh, the Infamous too. It was a story. Spider-Man
Ghost of Tsushima explode up.
Ghost of Tsushima blowed up. All that shit exploded. And guess what? You guys bought it.
Final Fantasy VII Remake.
That's not them.
No, we talking about.
I'm talking about Sony exclusively. So my whole
Final Fantasy VII Remake's exclusive.
No, it's Sony exclusive. Sony's what Sony made.
Oh, studio.
Right.
Okay.
So here's the thing, right?
Ratchet and
Not only that didn't explode. That did not explode.
Well, now it didn't explode. The last.
No, back then the platforms were cool. So when the PS2 happened, they were good. PS3 they dropped, but it was sustainable.
That's why I was going to say it sustained enough to where it kept doing.
That's why they have a new one. But that's what I'm saying. People want emotion. But here's the thing. Let me say this. And I'll let you talk. I don't want to get sidetracked in my brain. Not only did you guys buy the game, those cinematic experiences, but you doubly bought it. Sony went from making games that sold 3-4 million to 20 million.
Mm-hmm.
You told Sony I want AAA cinematic experiences. That's what you told them. So when Sony is sitting there investing in AAA games, guess what? They're doing it because of you. You were the reason why they did it. Go on, Killzone.
Yeah. So that's the thing. And people don't seem to know or don't seem to care about voting with a dollar. And Xbox was doing it up until the 360. I mean, it all comes down to what's consistent and what's gonna sell. This at the end of the day, this is end of the day, excuse me. This is the video game business. So it's not. I don't understand. I'm with you. Listen, I don't understand people getting their feelings. Like I want a whole bunch of different games that was fire, but if they don't sell, they don't sell. Or if they stop selling and they stop making it, that's how Sony moves. They move as a business. They love quality. They love to push the envelope, but they only gonna do it in something that yields results. And we found out that Xbox, same with Nintendo, but we found out that Xbox ain't as hands on. So I guarantee you, moving forward, Xbox is gonna be hands on. They're not gonna just keep letting these developers cook and not have no type of quality control. Now they gotta crack the whip. Now they gotta go a little bit harder.
Sony been cracking that fucking whip, and people don't like it. Oh, the fuck well. You want to know why they're making all those billions of dollars where you can run on the internet and tease other people that ain't making billions of dollars, even though you ain't seen that little bit of money? You want to know why they doing that? Because they run a tight ship. That's what they doing.
That's what they doing. And for y'all to make y'all money on YouTube and Twitch and everything else, bashing people for free.
You know what I mean? That's what y'all doing it. That's what y'all doing it for. You ain't doing all this shit. You know what I mean? Because you really care. Y'all doing this shit so I can go online and say, look, we got 25 studios, and guess what? Our studios is leaving. Nigga, you ain't getting the cut.
Unless you got some stock.
If you got some stock, then go off. Then if you got some stock, go off. Then
you pay that. How much? Let me look and see how much Sony stock is. Hold on.
And it's funny.
Keep going, listen.
Because all they doing is the only reason why you cared is because it's clicks that have Sony do bad press. It's clicks. But you know something that's interesting? I want to say this real quick before we move on to. I got to move on to the next subject. By the way, no one's really saying anything that I didn't say. But when it comes to Nintendo, right? Nintendo runs a tight ship. They said, listen, if you review our games fucked up, like Survivor does with Sony, you ain't getting shit. You won't get a click. You got to buy it with your own fucking money. And guess what people did? All those journalists, they fell in line. Oh shit, we can't say anything bad about it because, I mean, we got to be kind of make it look believable. We can't really say anything bad about these games because I want the next, I want to be first dibs. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? The review code so I can have first dibs to get those clicks. Sony hasn't been really doing it like that, right? No. So guess what? People can say all sorts of things. Oh, you know what? I rate Horizon Zero Dawn a 4 out of 10 because you know what? I just don't like this raggedy bitch. So
yeah,
that's you know.
But listen, when we say that, we haters. We don't know what we talking about. You know what I'm saying? We trying to keep some folks down. You know, we taking food up out of the reviewers and the bloggers and the podcasters' mouth because they trying to keep it real. But when they was getting in review codes, they was keeping they could do no wrong.
And the funny thing is, I'll say this shit right before we go on to the second topic, right? This is about me personally. I want to purge. This is on a side note. I want to purge my little ass YouTube channel, and I want to purge my fucking Twitter account from people that are fucking drones and fucking sheep. I'm gonna say what the fuck I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna say it how I want to say it. And if you don't like it, you can always unfollow. That's always an option, and mute my ass.
Yep.
There's a lot of people that are pissed off at the fact that I don't like what they like. Guess what? That's life.
Mm-hmm. Or going for what they want you to go for.
I am a traditional person. I like traditional games. I like traditional relationships. I like traditional every fucking thing. That is me. You could do whatever the fuck you want to do with your life and your decisions. I don't gotta like Nintendo or the Switch. I don't gotta like your sexuality or whatever the fuck you doing behind closed doors. I like what I like. And I'm gonna talk about what I like. And if that really makes you, sick to your stomach, that I want a bitch, and that there's some things I don't agree with, but you can live in your. I don't hate you for whatever you do. You like a Nintendo, you like an Xbox. I don't engage in all that dumbass shit. But if you don't like what I'm saying, or you think I'm supposed to be a pony because I like PlayStation, I'm supposed to believe and love everything they fucking do and never say anything bad about Sony. Get the fuck off my shit. How about that? You getting mad because I'm speaking the fucking truth about PlayStation? Oh, the fuck. Well, yeah, I do think. Hold on, wait. Yeah, I do think that PlayStation is pandering to a lot of things, but they want money. I get it. They do it too much, you ain't gonna have a customer. Go on, man.
Yeah. Bro, you preaching to the choir, man. You know what I'm saying? It like I said this the other day. They not paying nobody to defend them. They got lawyers to defend them. You know what I'm saying? They got PR people to defend them. And Sony and Nintendo is like neck and neck. They in the lead. It's like Flash and Superman. Xbox is like Batman right now. This is fact. This is business. This ain't my opinion. This is, look at the money. Look at where it's at. You know what I'm saying? So if you get mad at Illicit or you get mad at me because I might disagree at something, it is what it is. But go ahead, listen, man. Go to the next topic.
Yo, damn, what's going on? What?
I'm punching in with the ad libs today. Go ahead and cook.
What?
Yo, what's good, man?
What's going on, man?
Harry Potter in the flesh. Yeah, I'm all good, bro.
Good shit, man.
Good to hear your voice, man. Good to hear your voice.
Likewise, man.
Also, good discussion, everybody, man. Killzone, man, made some good points.
You know.
Real quick before you go to that, right? We should be able to, as men and black men, be able.
No, don't do it. Nope, don't do it. Do not do it. I won't do it. Do not do it. You won't do it.
All
nope.
right. Respect. All I'm gonna say is this: respect everybody's opinion, because what you eat don't make me. You already know, because I know you record. That's all I'm gonna say.
You know how I feel about that shit when it comes to fucking when it comes to supposed black people that act like they support other black people, but they really don't.
No, I'm just talking about
that bullshit.
I'm just talking about.
No, I am too. I'm talking about every day too.
I'm talking about every day in your everyday life. I ain't just talking about here on the internet or whatever.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. As brothers, how they want. You notice when I come here, I ask you how you doing, how your day going, how all of that. That's just how I was raised. You know.
I get you. But look, I already dealt with the fucking black community, right?
Go ahead.
That be doing stupid ass shit. So there's that. Either way, like I said before, whoever treats me nice, I will treat them nice. That's just the end of the story. If you want to be treated nice, then you got it. Now, Dan, what you got to say?
I'm just jumping in, man. So, what was the last topic?
Nigga, we going on to the next topic, man. Next topic.
Sorry, man. I just jumped in.
We're gonna go on to the next.
What's the next topic?
The next topic is actually, how will Xbox end? Is the next topic. Ooh. People ain't gonna want to hear that. Oh, they don't want to hear that. Y'all wasn't. Y'all, I don't think y'all ready for that topic. Yeah, I ain't ready for that shit. I'm just saying this, right?
Mhm.
I truly believe, after looking at that fucking topic, I mean, after looking at all that shit, I think this is curtains for them. I think that's it. Wrap it up, seal it up. That's it for them. That's it. Ain't no way, right? Ain't no way that you're going to sit there and you literally, right, make a topic. I'm sorry, not a topic. Excuse me. I'm sitting there doing too many things at once. Excuse me. Ain't no way you have you you have a okay. Let me get my thoughts together. So Phil Spencer finally came out of the dungeon, right? Crawled out of his
Out of the closet.
out of the closet, right? He came out
Watch.
he came up out of nowhere, and because people were demanding what the fuck is going on. You want to know why they were demanding it? Because the game that they had is just trash, man. It's trash. It's trash. It's trash. It's ass, right? It's not good. It's unfinished. More importantly, and you said something earlier. I don't know if it was damn, what the fuck is his name? He keep changing his name. My brain's thinking about that shit.
Killzone?
No, it's not Killzone. Oh, he hopped out. Let me see here. Okay. Well, I think Killzone mentioned this shit too, which was interesting. So here's what he said. He was like, there's a lack of management. And I don't think so.
Quality
I don't think
control.
so.
No, it is illicit because this is the thing, right? He came in, my boy Phil Spencer came on there and said that when they signed Bethesda, right, they didn't worry too much about Redfall because they pretty much had already had, they had faith in their track record, and but they didn't take into account that Bethesda Arcane is used to doing single player stuff. So this
No,
they
no,
first.
no. I gotta look. Let me explain something, right? Let me just say this. You know how I know that this is not a quality thing? I mean, this is not a quality control thing. You want to know how I know it's not a quality control thing? And by the way, Dan, like I said, we're talking about. I think this is the end for Microsoft. That's it. The reason why I say
Yeah.
this, right, is because anytime Microsoft gets their hands on something, it seems to have a particular direction in online, and then it
Yeah.
falls apart. That
It's
is
because
a
they don't.
direct. That is. Hold on, wait. That is a direct objective coming from Microsoft to function a different way. They are telling these developers, "I want it to work this way." They waltzed up into Arcane Studios and said, "Kill that fucking PS5 version. I don't think people care about story or whatever whack ass story you got going on with these vampires. Don't even fucking make the fucking story. And probably the story had a tie in with the gameplay. Make something to fuck up. Get this fucking shit out. And here's your budget. You can't. This is your budget. Make that shit work. I don't know what to tell you. I think that's what they told them. Make it work. It needs to work with Game Pass. It needs to be in bite-sized, episodic, or whatever the case is, and make this shit work. And everybody probably looked at each other and was like, "There's no way we can finish this shit. We had all this work. We can't finish this shit." Well, see how it works. If time's up, time's up. You ever see those cooking shows where they only have a certain amount of time to do it, and they rushing and shit like that? They're throwing things together, and then they say time's up, and that shit be looking sloppy and shit, stuff be sliding off the fucking surface and shit. And it's like, well, this is what I can. You didn't give me enough time. I think for sure, Microsoft are um, giving them directives. I'm sure they have. You want to know what else I know? Is if you look at what Microsoft has done in the past, right? You can't count. What do you call that fucking? What's that airplane game that be fucking with?
Flight Simulator.
So Flight Simulator, right? You can't say Flight Simulator because Microsoft didn't care about Flight Simulator at the time. They just let them do whatever they want. They were able to do what they want without no one contested it. They don't even look at that as a console game. They just look at that as people that like flying planes, which there are some. I met a couple of them. They just do what they say, do what you do with them. And we need to fill something into our Game Pass shit, so we're going to put that in there. Here's the thing. Microsoft grab a hold to Rare and fuck them up. Microsoft,
they fucked up Rare completely. Back in the 90s, yeah. Sorry to go on a tangent here, but Rare was like, they were the ones, man. In the Super Nintendo days, Microsoft bought Rare and fucked them. And every other person that they've acquired, they're fucked. Every single time. Sorry to jump onto that, but
absolutely.
I hold Rare quite near and dear because Rare is obviously, there's not a lot of huge UK developers, but back in the 90s, Rare was something for us to be quite proud of. So, yeah, I'm a bit pissed about that, to be fair.
And that's the thing that I wanted to say. That's the crazy thing, right? They grabbed a hold of Bungie. Fucked them up too.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Originally, because it was different management, right? They were like, okay, make this. I need you to make this to have online play, and I need you to make this shit to have really good graphics. That was probably the only directives that they had, right? Then Halo 2 came out and started killing things, you know what I mean? And then Halo 3 came out, and it's like, Bungie was like, hey, yo, like, I really kind of want to do something else. Nope. You can only do this.
You know what's actually quite crazy?
Hold that thought.
Okay.
And then you had Halo Reach, and Halo Reach was supposed to be their magnum opus, and they were going to be like, yo, after Halo Reach, we need freedom. I don't want to do this series anymore. I want to do something else. Microsoft was like, nah. So there was like, I'll let you keep the fucking IP, but allow us to break free. And Microsoft was like, fuck it. We don't care about you. You ain't important. The IP is important. Deuces, bitch. Mm-hmm. And they fucking left. We don't just give this IP to anybody. And they gave it to somebody, and they fucked up that too. Gears of War. They were like, shit, we don't got nobody. Okay, cool. Let's give it to these fucking people. They fucked that up too. Because hold on, hold that thought. The common denominator is they want online experiences to sell Xbox Live. And then when Phil Spencer jumped into it, he changed the whole game to try to make the subscription work. They have an internal budget. So they're looking at all the stuff that they have to put into the service in that budget. And they're chopping things actively. They're trying to make things to the point where people are going to continue to use the service. So if they have to break up a game or make it simplistic so you can jump in and out, they're going to do that. Go on, Dan.
No, I just wanted to add just quickly on the whole Bungie thing. It already shows you how shady Microsoft's practices were. From the late 90s going into 2000, Bungie was originally going to release Halo on the Macintosh, Apple. But Microsoft acquired Bungie. They said, yeah, don't worry about that. The game's still coming on Mac, still coming on PC. But they lied straight away. That was their first sign of how they were going to act as a company. Because Xbox acquired Bungie and only released Halo on the Xbox platform. Everyone's quite surprised that they did that with Bethesda. They were doing that before they even launched the original Xbox. Yeah, so it's just the same. It's just a continuous pattern.
Say that again. That last bit. What do you say that one more time? I'm sorry. Somebody was sending me a message and then I got all folded up.
No. Long story short, basically that Microsoft has been doing these practices before they even launched the original Xbox. They acquired Bungie. They told everybody, yep, the game's still coming out on Apple. It's still coming out on PC. That didn't even happen. It just came straight to Xbox. This was before the original Xbox even launched. But people act surprised 20 years later when they acquired Bethesda or they try to acquire Activision and don't think that they're going to take away IP. They don't give a fuck about the developers. They just want to try and monopolize the IP.
Well, they care about what brings all the boys to the yard. And they think in their head, it doesn't matter about quality. It's the name. And they fuck up every time. It's been fucking 21 years or 22 years. I can't remember. It's been 21 or 2 years, man, of the same practices over and over remixed because they don't really. And it's not that this is not like a virtuous type conversation. Like when I say that Microsoft doesn't care about it, they really don't care about it. And guess what? They make so much money, they truly don't know how to manage. They don't know how because they never had to. They could just buy whatever the fuck they want, and they don't need to think about money going away. See, the only time you know how to manage well, even in your everyday life, the only time that you manage well is if you're on a budget. That's when you start saying, I can't buy fast food. I'll make my own fucking food. I can't drive over there. You know what? I'll take the bus. That's going to be easier. And then you start finagling your budget. Microsoft doesn't have a budget, so they don't have a concept of management. They just think they have an idea, and they just throw everything at that idea without even thinking about how it's supposed to work. And their idea for gaming is for what do you call it? Residual income. Just constant income coming to you over and over again. And they're looking like, so long as we make games, people are going to come pick it up. You know how I know that they're so rudimentary with their thoughts? They're rudimentary with their thoughts because Phil Spencer literally said, even though he had the blueprint, Sony opened up everything. They laid it on the table. Not literally, but like you can see their job practices. You saw where they fucked up. You saw where they succeeded. It is open for everybody to fucking see and analyze. And yet, Phil Spencer said, you just making good games doesn't mean you're successful. You know how long it took Sony to make that idea catch on that they were a fucking powerhouse for AAA games? 10 fucking years. 10. You know what Microsoft did? They kept trying to take the easy way out. Either they have an existing franchise or they milk it to death, or they just buy somebody else to just make the titles exclusive for a certain amount of time. Timed exclusivity. That's all they know. All the titles that they've made, the Call of Duty could have been their shit. If they bought them at the time, it could have been their shit before it even got big. And then they could have cultivated it, but they didn't have enough sense to do that. They don't know how to manage. They don't have an IP. They haven't been throwing things. I was saying this earlier.
Can I?
Yep, go on, man.
Sorry. No, I just said just to add a bit of flavor into your current thoughts. It's just a famous quote. Everyone's read it on Twitter, especially in the community. It's just a quick quote from Steve Jobs about Microsoft. The only problem with Microsoft is they just have no taste. They absolutely no taste. And I don't mean that in a small way. I mean that in a big way, in the sense that they don't think of original ideas and they don't bring much culture into their products. This is Microsoft. It's Microsoft in all their products. Obviously, we're talking about Xbox. It's the same thing. They have no original ideas. Any ideas they have, they just think, oh, you know what, fuck it. Let's not make the game. Let's just acquire the studio that's making the game. But unfortunately, they acquire these studios and they absolutely tank them into the ground. It's just a real sad state of affairs, really. And it's annoying. Yeah, it's annoying because yes, my preference is PlayStation, but having a better competitor that's constantly producing quality games. Let's be honest. Xbox made Sony stand up and wake up in the 360 PS3 era. Yeah, they did, and it was good. It was good to have competition. I still fucked with the PS3, but the 360 made PlayStation stand up and start bringing that heat. And after that, they have not brought anything else to the battle.
Now think about this, right? And we already understand. I think everybody understands that. This is why the conversation, when it comes to actual Xbox, the conversation is who they're going to buy instead of what games are we going to get. They don't think about the games because, again, just like the PlayStation fans, They think about numbers and Metacritics and the sales. That's all they care about. So they can run and rub it in the faces of them. Now, what Microsoft...
it's become a sport.
It's a sport. It's a meta sport.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to Xbox, they'll say that our budget is this. We're going to have all these studios, and you ain't going to have shit. And they don't even think about the actual games. What we were talking about earlier, Dan, is Sony's fans claims that they want AA games, and then when they gave it to them, i.e. Returnal, they never bought it. And then when they have showcases with fucking AA games, guess what? They don't want that shit either. You know what I'm saying? These fanboys, all of them, are irritating to me, and they have always been. So I know DJ said this. Are you still there, DJ?
Yeah. I'm
you said that it was gonna be 10 years before Microsoft closed shop.
Yep, because that's what they said. What was that? 2016 when they started this up, and then it's in there. If you go look in their investor reports, they are what was our friend? Yeah, they got it set up that they got a 10-year plan. You know, basically for Game Pass and everything else like that. And I think if they fold up the console, Game Pass is still gonna be on your PC, on your TV. You know, the Series X might get a slight upgrade, but they're not gonna probably iterate again for it. And if they do, it'll be all digital. You know what I'm saying? That's where they headed to, because it's just basically you're gonna buy the Xbox, it'll have the hardware in it, but it won't have the disc drive, and it'll have Game Pass or whatever on it.
I think at the end of the generation, that's it. I think what they're going to announce is just their PC shit. Somebody mentioned this too. They may make a laptop and call it a day, and that's how they can wiggle their way. They can wiggle their way out of it. I'm going to tell you this: if you believe that Microsoft is going to literally see it through to the end, they've cut things off earlier than that when it wasn't working.
Yeah. Well, only reason why I say that is because they got all of these games in development. But if they come out,
hold on, wait. You say that they have all these games in development. We don't see shit. We don't even see them live. You're saying that they're in development. You're under the impression that they're being created.
Well,
I don't even think that they're created.
No.
Well,
I'm saying they signed these contracts and they announced some of these games.
What contracts? They bought them. There's no contract with yourself.
Well, yeah, you're right. Well, yeah, but I'm saying when they set up the game, right? They basically sign these people on for
homie. They can break that. They can breach that. Look. They can breach that contract and pay them the fuck off. They have way too much money to do that shit. They don't need to stick with it.
Sense. I'm just saying it would just be like, all right, if they come out, if Starfield flops, I go with you on that. Now, if they got that, and in the next couple games, if those games deliver, then yeah. But if not, I'm with you on that. I'm
gonna tell you this: this deal ain't gonna go through. That was the determining factor of what they were going to do with it. They were contingent on they were contingent on being a third party. They were already trying to exit anyway, right?
Yeah. And
this has just accelerated it. I believe when Phil Spencer presented Game Pass to them, they said this. They said, "Listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to try to make Game Pass work, and if it fails by acquiring developers and games, if it fails, right, then guess what? We'll become a publisher." Either way, we're going to get our money. And that's the only reason why if there was a go-ahead or a green-lit for $68 billion. And not only that... Go on, man. Hey, y'all always cut me the fuck off. Damn.
I'm sorry, man. You know how we are, man. I know we're on opposite sides of the pond, but our thoughts are quite aligned. And I think in the long game is that at the end of the day, these big corporations, whether it's Google, Amazon, whatever, all they care about is MAUs, monthly active users, yeah? Microsoft know they cannot compete with Nintendo and Sony. There's no point even talking about it. It's not even a discussion.
They can compete. They have enough money. They look for the last.
Yeah, what I mean by it is like shifting plastic.
They waited for 22 years to tell you that we can't compete with them when they didn't even fucking try. They didn't try. They didn't make these games, and the games they made was poor quality. They literally had they had Redfall internally tested, and somehow they thought it was going to review an 8, and the game's fucking broken. That's how you know they don't give a fuck. They're not trying. If they were trying, that's what I'm saying. They're saying that they can't compete with them, but really, you don't want to compete with them. Here's what it is.
I don't believe that they can't.
Wait, hold on.
I think that's their story.
No, what I'm saying is that they refuse to do it. I'm not saying that they're lying either. I feel like they don't want to put the effort in it. Like, period. There's a whole bunch of people that are overweight, right? They'll say that I tried to eat that. I ate a salad for a week, man. It didn't work. Sorry. And that's not really trying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You gotta bust your ass for a lot of the things that you want in this world. Now, here's the thing. The reason why the CMA probably blocked the motherfuckers is because they probably saw what they were doing. Microsoft is not a gaming company. They are a data company. What they were going to try to do is Trojan games, right? By having the biggest games on the cell phones and shit. Now they have access. You know when you download an app on the App Store or Google Play, and it says we need your permission to listen to this and that or whatever the case is? That's what Microsoft was after. Have all these Call of Duty people playing, don't even fucking know that they're given permission. They was going to use your fucking data. That's why they wanted it. And the CMA caught that shit, was like, absolutely not. And the add further to it, I don't want you doing this shit for 10 years. Don't even try it. This ain't about gaming for them. As a matter of fact, Microsoft is a disruptor. They're not a real player. The only reason why Sony really tried is because PlayStation was one of their fucking most successful brands. That's why they had to try. They couldn't lose that. They were on the verge of losing every fucking thing. They lost out on the TVs. They lost out on the phones. They lost out on the music, semiconductors. They lost out on almost everything. The only thing that was successful was their cameras and their fucking bank. Everything else was fucking tanking. And people were like, I don't like their TVs like that. It's too expensive. But now with the PlayStation, Sony has the mind share to let them know that if I make something, people are going to realize that there's a quality to it. They couldn't let PlayStation go because it's a part of the mindset of Sony and their quality. That's why they tried. Yeah, people need to understand that Sony is still a fucking company. That's what kills me about a lot of the fans. Y'all think that they are fucking friends where y'all can sit to the fucking table and eat ramen noodles and shit and fucking raw eggs. They don't like your fucking ass. Don't you know? Back in the 90s, they were extra racist to white people. They were like, the reason why our chips are better is because we're closer to the table, where white people are long and lanky. They can't see it. That's the commercial for Sony. They don't like you. I'm just saying, like, especially, you can be all inclusive all day and all night, but we hired women and black people and LGBT. They don't give a fuck about any of that shit. They want your money. Stop thinking that they're not your friend. I get it, because they're Japanese. They do have this propensity to really take pride in their quality. That's the thing. That's hardwired in Japanese people. Just like it's hardwired for black people to get the fuck up and run where there's a loud noise. It's built into us. It's built into them to have a quality. Just saying.
I agree.
So, my whole question is this, right? Yo, get mad at me all you want. Motherfuckers is probably super upset with me. How could you say that? That is racist. Well, that is true. They don't give a fuck about you. I'm just saying. I'm saying that shit, and I'm letting you know also that the Xbox is fucking done for Fini. They're done. This is the last generation. Mark my fucking words. Their only saving grace was this fucking deal, and it's collapsing. You want to know why Phil Spencer walked up there and said some wild shit like, we ain't gonna make no quality fucking games? And I'm sorry, this is what it is. It's because his job is eminently destroyed. That's it.
Oh, dude, he's on his way out. Yeah.
All these tech companies are already firing 10,000 people. He's going to be sunset out of this fucking company. They're going to say that he's going to have a new honorary position that oversees or a consultant of sort. And then all of a sudden, 2 years later, he's going to be out of the company altogether. He's going to be phased the fuck out. That's how this is going to work. And so is Xbox. And you know what? He's going to take the fall of the entire Xbox. Since he's going, the whole idea for Xbox is going to be different. We're going to go the route of publishing. That's what we're going to do. The deal may go through, but not in the way that you think. They may take Kings from what do you call it? From fucking Activision or something, a small part of that shit, or another cell phone company, and then that's it. They may make a laptop, maybe. You know what I mean? Or some sort of small gaming device, sort of like a fucking like a Wii U or something like that. That they can sit there and say that you don't fucking need it or whatever the case is. Because guess what? They were totally comfortable.
Like a Steam Deck.
I wouldn't say handheld necessarily, but because they're not good with that. No, maybe a small device.
Yeah, it'll be like the Xbox One or the Xbox One S, or the Series S, where it's all digital. That's what they're gonna do. And then they might make a Series X, but in the style of a Series S with the hardware and the components, maybe a little bit scaled back. But just to salvage the tech. But I mean, we'll see. Like I'm holding out a little bit of hope for them because I don't want them to. Because I feel like if Xbox goes, that's gonna shift the entire gaming industry.
No, I don't believe that. I'm so tired of people saying some dumb. I'm sorry, it's dumb as shit to me.
Well, hold on.
You want to know why?
Let me tell you why.
Go on, man.
Why I say that? Because without Xbox, you don't have Halo, which you don't have Call of Duty in the way that we had Call of Duty now. Because you had a lot of shooters back then, Unreal, Tribes, all them different games from back in the day, Medal of Honor. But when Halo came out, it changed everything as far as online multiplayer and everything else like that. Then you had Call of Duty 1 and 2 on PC, and then they came over to the consoles, and then you. So
what are you trying to say exactly? Why is Microsoft needed? That's all I'm trying to figure out.
So then they came with Xbox Live on the 360, which in turn made Sony step their game up. Then they had Sony, was down bad a little bit in the PS3 generation. Then you got PlayStation Plus with the games, and then you got games with gold, and then they took that idea, and now you have Game Pass. You know what I'm saying? And then now, PlayStation and them was going back and forth. It's kind of level right now with PlayStation beating them.
So your whole thing, I still don't hear it. The whole thing, I have to relegate this shit because I want Remnant to speak. Okay. What I'm hearing is that the only reason why they should be here because they stimulate the online market. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why would you think that they need to be there?
Then the same thing with Nintendo. Without Nintendo,
why do you think that they need to be there? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why do you think they need to be there?
Competition is why we've gotten the rivalry between these three companies is why we've gotten the games and the experience.
And my retort to that shit is that when Microsoft didn't exist, the gaming industry was some of the best shit I've ever experienced in my life.
I'll agree with you.
Yeah, but
I'm saying that it's brought without Xbox.
It's brought online DLC and microtransactions and paying online. That's what it brought.
Yeah, but listen, you still have to have at least two brands competing on the same level.
Well, guess what? Guess what? It's Nintendo.
One second. Hold on. One second. Before Xbox came onto the scene, Nintendo and Sega, and before Sony, Nintendo and Sega were at the same level. They were like battling back and forth, just like PlayStation and Xbox, just like Apple and Microsoft, just like Apple and Samsung. The thing is, you need to have these competitions, because smartphones wouldn't be to where they were if Apple only made the iPhone. Smartphones have progressed because Android came out, and it's that feature's there. Let me take this. Let me reiterate on this. Let me iterate on this. Mm-hmm. If Xbox just disappear and there is no competition,
there's going to be a vacuum.
There's 1 second. Hold on.
I'm going to need you to clean this shit up.
No way that Nintendo can push Sony to
Well, you know what? That's my problem.
They're on two different
paths. problem with Nintendo anyway. If Nintendo can't hold their own against PlayStation and basically sell the same thing, what is that saying about Nintendo? If they take Microsoft out of there and Nintendo ain't really competing, that means that they don't have that much value either in the gaming market.
Nintendo.
Yeah, but they're doing a different thing.
I don't care. They in the console space. When people compare those, though, talk about something they have the best games of fucking all time. All right, cool. So how come they can't compete with Sony then?
They only not competing
Yeah, I
with
get
them
that.
on the online aspect, and they don't need it because
Y'all want the online.
you pretty much grow. No, I'm saying Nintendo is an evergreen console, so you get on board when you young, then you grow up, and then you give it to your kids. This is
That's
why
what y'all
And
wanted.
also,
that's their formula.
Jay-Z is not trying to compete with Taylor Swift, bro. But they're both musicians. It's two different
No,
things.
I get what you're saying.
Two
I'm
different-
getting what you're saying, but Sony at one point, that means this: if Microsoft leaves the industry, right, that means that Nintendo most likely will probably step up. They have to step up. There's no other options.
Or I think they're on a different wavelength. Nintendo's trying to become Disney right now. They're on some next shit. They're doing a whole.
They are with this.
They will never be no. Look,
no, they.
The reason
I'm
why
not saying obviously they're
you
going to be
won't
as
be
big
able to hear what I'm saying if you're talking over me. The thing about it is, right, is Nintendo is coasting. Period. They're coasting because all their fans are doing that shit. And the reason why that Mario movie did this movie, or I think $1 billion, I think they already did $1 billion.
Yep.
It was so. You want to know something? So did Venom, and it wasn't that great of a movie either, and it still did $1 billion. So that's not saying too much in terms of the gaming space. They can get away.
Yeah,
they can get away with the bullshit. That's what I'm saying. They don't have to do anything crazy. If Microsoft leaves, it probably would do the industry good and make Nintendo do something finally with some hardware, which will in turn make better software, or that vacuum, that hole that Microsoft leaves will give way to Apple putting their console in there. And guess what? When a mind share is gripped, it grips a whole bunch of people, you can't shake them. You can't tell an Apple person to get an Android ever. They're not going to do it. And likewise with fucking, I mean generally, please don't use no fucking the exception to the rules. Don't use exceptions to the rules. Well, you got 3 niggas that will do it. I'm talking about generally.
Yes or no?
Hey, you know, Elsa, hey, I agree with you, brother. Like, to be honest with you, the thing is that with Nintendo, it's a completely different ball game, right? Because for them, they could get away with anything, right? And they probably would have to step up. But the thing is that I don't think that Microsoft is going to leave the entire. Okay, so a lot of us were thinking that with this ABK deal, if it went through, right? If it does go through, I don't really give a shit to begin where they can have that crap. But for me personally, we were thinking that they were just going to become a third party publisher. Just put shit everywhere else out.
Toxic, go in. I'm drinking something. Yeah, I'm about to get on my third topic.
Yeah, what's up, y'all? Look, man.
Toxic.
Every time you talk about Nintendo, bro, you always harp on the hardware, and it's like, bro, look. I always tell people ever since last year, Nintendo is doing something with the hardware. The Switch, what Nintendo is doing with the Switch right now, and why you have not gotten a Pro, is because back in 2019 they had plans to release a Pro, but the Tegra line of SoCs are too weak for DLSS, so they scrapped it and they turned it into the successor. And then now what they're trying to do is make up for the profits that they lost during the 3DS and Wii U era by still clinging on the Switch and perfecting and ironing out the marketing and the manufacturing process of the Switch 2. There's a forum on Family Boards that I can link you that has a bunch of like internet sleuths and NVIDIA employees that literally spoke out that, yeah, the Switch 2 is a thing. This is the SoC and everything. You can find the T239, the T234 spec sheet online. It's close to a PS4. So practically it's pretty much a Steam Deck, but it has DLSS.
So that's what you settling for? You settling for close to PS4? That's what you want?
It's close to PS4 without the DLSS.
No, I'm asking. That's what you want? You want something close to PS4? That's what you want from Nintendo?
I mean, it is in the terms of power to a PS4, which is just like the Steam Deck. So sure, I want that.
You want that, right?
Because you want to know why. Hold on. You want to know why? Because it's affordable. One, it's affordable because now you can look at the Steam Deck, same thing. It's as powerful as a PS4, and it's a $400 device for a 64 gigabyte model. You're not going to get something like an Asus. You're not going to get something like an Asus ROG.
Let me back up. Hold on, wait. Let me back up just a little bit, right? You mentioned I keep bringing up the Switch and talk about hardware. What do you mean by that?
You know exactly what I mean by that. I have the
no, I
numerous
don't.
conversations that you have with Chris Righteous and all that, bro. Come on now.
No, what you mean by that?
You harp on the games like Tears of Kingdom, running at a subpar 30 frames. But what are you expecting from a game that's three times as larger than a game like Horizon?
I'm not comparing that game to Horizon. Chris was comparing that game to Horizon. He repeatedly does it. I don't know why he does it. They're not even the same genre. He gonna sit there and show Aloy slapping his fucking tree with a stick and somehow supposed to chop it the fuck down? What does that mean? I didn't compare it. I was minding my own business. What the fuck did I do to you?
No, you're still going in with the premise, right? Because you're still going to argue.
The premise. Look, I am still arguing with him. Hold on, Toxic.
The hardware of the Switch, though, man.
I am a tech junkie. And I also like Nintendo. He thinks I'm not invested in Nintendo shit, as if I've never owned a fucking Nintendo console in my life. And I don't like them.
It's different from being invested and being a Nintendo fan and then just owning a previous console from Nintendo.
No, I am a Sony fan and I can criticize the fuck out of them every day, and I do it. I just got finished doing it. You know what it's irrational? You know what's irrational?
So you're a Nintendo fan, right? So what are some Switch games that you've beaten recently?
Who said I was a Nintendo fan?
You said that. You said that you were a Nintendo fan.
I said I like Nintendo shit. I'm a PlayStation fan.
You said you was a Nintendo fan, man. This is a recorded space.
I may have mistakenly said it, trying to get this shit out. Now I'm a PlayStation fan, but I like Nintendo shit. But what my whole
Toxic, real quick question: the difference between the Steam Deck and the Switch is that the Switch can run 1080p at when it's docked, but the thing is with the Steam Deck it's the 720p. Am I wrong in that, or?
He knows this.
He knows 800p.
He knows this, right? He knows this.
But I'm not comparing the Switch. I'm not comparing the Switch One to the Steam Deck. That's the thing. Like you're harping on a system that's dying, bro.
Hold on, wait a minute. So now that we're in the space, because Chris doesn't want to join it, now that we're in the space to talk, now I could actually explain and articulate what I mean. Less, more than 144 characters. Now, it's not that I have a problem with the hardware. I understand what the hardware is capable of doing. I get it. It can only do but so much. My situation is this. The more actual Nintendo fans that are diehard Nintendo fans accept the fucking slop that is giving to them, and I mean a shitty piece of hardware that was already outdated by 2 years when it came out in 2017, the more I don't get my proper Pokemon.
What?
What do you mean, what?
Well, you know what, brother? I think what it is with Nintendo is the reason why
Pokemon's not developed by Nintendo.
I don't give a fuck if it's not. I don't give a fuck if it's not developed by Nintendo. They oversee the fucking.
Pokemon is a different entity within itself, man.
I know it's a joint effort. They oversee part of that.
It's not even a joint effort. Nintendo has no creative say. They only own 35% of the company because of Creatures Inc.
So you told me, right? If that's the case, they don't have no say at all. So it could be released any old kind of fucking way. That's what you told me?
They have no creative control.
35%, they can't do nothing.
No. They signed a contract where they have no creative control. They have no say whatsoever. They only make profits from just owning 35% of the company.
If that's the case, then if they had better fucking hardware, then Game Freaks will be able to make a better fucking game.
Well, no, it's not the hardware, right? Because we can, again, I always say this, right? If you played Nintendo games, I can say Pokemon Battle Revolution, right? That was a Wii game. If you look at that game, like its graphics are a lot better than Scarlet and Violet. And that game came out in 2007. Pokemon Coliseum is a 20-year-old GameCube game. Looks better than Scarlet and Violet.
What kind of game
but the thing is, Game Freak are incompetent developers. Game Freak is not a good developer. But the thing about those games that were made on GameCube and Wii...
They can't hire nobody else?
No, because the Pokemon company is backwards, right? Look, they took the people that made the Battle Revolution and XD Gala Darkness, so the GameCube and Wii games, they turned them into a company that makes Pokemon Tetris clones now. So they took a studio that made phenomenal 3D Pokemon games into pretty much a mobile game company. And then they made Game Freak go from, 2D sprite, Pokemon games to making 3D games. So they were ass backwards with it. They should have had Genius Sonority.
Hold on, wait, but let me ask you this. This is what I don't like about this. Is why I don't like. This is why I don't like. I'm not going to talk over people. I swear to God, if I will mute people if I have to. I want to get to the bottom of this shit. Are you being disingenuous by telling me this Pokemon game that's in 2007 is an open world Pokemon game? Is it or is it not?
No, it's not.
Then why would you compare those two? Of course, it looks better.
You want to know why I compared it? Because you can look at. It's not even that, right? Because you can look at Sword and Shield. Again, that's a linear Pokemon game. Looks like garbage. Pokemon X and Y, a linear 3DS 3D game for Pokemon, still looks like garbage.
You want to know something too?
Pokemon Coliseum. Hold on, Pokemon Coliseum and XD Gale of Darkness are linear traditional Pokemon games that are in 3D and still looks better than Scarlet and Violet.
I don't want a fucking linear or 2D or over the isometric view Pokemon game. I don't want that. That's my thing. And you made your point. You made your point about that shit. So I will concede in that one. I will back off with a fucking Pokemon thing because I didn't know about the 35% or whatever. I knew that I thought it was a joint effort, to be perfectly honest with you. And we didn't know these things because back in the day, because the amount of Pokemon that you had was like at 150, and it kept multiplying back then. It was a 2D game. I'm thinking like I don't think that they'd be able to make all of those fucking models. You know what I'm saying? And put it in the 3D world. Now that we have the ability to do it, now I'm looking for it. So that's why I didn't complain about it back then. You want to know what else? You want to know what my favorite fucking IP for Nintendo is?
What's up?
It's all of Kirby. Every one of them. I have emails that is fucking Kirby. Kirby all over the fucking place. But nobody... See, what Chris Righteous and to some degree you are insinuating is that I'm some sort of fucking fanboy of PlayStation and I'm harping on them shits. I would like for Nintendo to return to form and make a fucking decent piece of hardware like they used to. I don't give a fuck about the excuses. I don't care about their systems don't sell. Let's let Chris Righteous be pissed off. And it was Sony to buy Japanese games irrationally. I want to irrationally have Nintendo with the billions of dollars that they make a traditional fucking hardware. That's what I want.
Yeah, but why would they have to make a traditional piece of hardware? I know that's what you want. I know that's what you want, right?
That's my answer.
But
wait.
Have you ever played like a powerful handheld?
There's no bite. I don't want handhelds no more.
Like, have you ever played a Steam Deck? And have you ever seen the quality of games that can be played on a Steam Deck?
There's no but. It is what it is. I want the traditional hardware. I don't give a fuck what it looked like. I don't understand why you're trying to make me say something else. I want regular hardware.
Yeah.
Yo, let me ask you this, right? Do you own a Switch?
I owned it before and returned it.
Okay, so yeah, that's that. Okay, let me ask you this then, right? Have you played a Steam Deck? Have you ever seen games run on a Steam Deck?
That one, no, but I'm aware of specs and what it should look like.
Yeah. So you should look at some games running on Steam.
They were able to run like Horizon and shit like that. That's on there, and it looked great.
Right.
But the thing is,
that's a $400 device. That's as powerful as a PS4.
I don't want PS4 anymore. I want PS5 and beyond.
Well, it has to be affordable. That's the thing.
Okay, so if they,
I get what you're saying,
if they
right?
make a traditional piece of hardware like home console, then we won't be talking about them the bare minimum. They making billions.
Listen,
it wouldn't be affordable anyway because Nintendo's tied to Nvidia. Nvidia is just going to be like, hey, let's slap a 30 series card in here.
Nvidia's greedy as shit. That shit.
Yeah. So it's not going to be affordable for a home console. They're going to base everything off of a 30 series card.
They should have never fucked with Nvidia. Everybody that fucked with Nvidia got screwed. Every single one of them.
Well, listen. Thing is, what Toxic trying to say is that.
No, I get what he's trying to say. I get what he's trying to say. I get it. You don't gotta explain it.
They're not gonna rock the boat with this. I'm gonna take it deeper. They're not trying to rock the boat because what they've been doing is working. Just like with Sony, right? So because they've been able to sell at $200, $350, they got their market trained for that, right? Because they're selling the Switch on the fact that this is a Game Boy and this is a Wii. combined into one. This is why they can add
There's
for,
hold on, wait. I don't want to be redundant with this because I already understood what he was saying. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, right?
I'm with you though. I told Toxic this.
No, I know, but just like with you, because you talk to Chris a lot, right? Run and tell this to Chris since he don't want to join Spaces for whatever reason. Here's the thing, right?
Did you send him an invite?
He doesn't join. So the thing is, right? And I don't think I'm being confrontational. Like, just like he loves Japanese games and he doesn't care. He's saying Sony makes money. So why don't you invest in them? And Sony is like, I don't make enough money to do it. I'm irrational by wanting Nintendo to make a home console. That's the only thing. I'm not trying to rag on Nintendo and shit like that, but I'm thinking like, y'all should be kind of demanding to people that like Nintendo to have at least better fucking hardware. I don't give a fuck what the reason is.
It's not.
They should have been. They should have been made another fucking Switch. To be honest with you, but I understand it. But I'm thinking like, damn, that would have been nice to have like a Steam Deck quality ass shit.
They're not gonna go for that.
Yeah, but we're gonna possibly get one next year though. If everything lines into play and they can manufacture it on time,
we'll see, and it better be good.
We can get one because you know, and there's yeah, and this is why I say people need to follow that Family Boards thread where there's a whole bunch of internet sleuths tracking this shit down. Like the person who leaked that the Switch, like the first Switch was being manufactured, he was dropping hints on a Chinese forum called Bilibili saying, yeah, Nintendo's about to manufacture this next console. I'm going to take a picture of the show because that's what he does. And then the next day, Nintendo filed a cease and desist on him. That's not normal.
Yeah, because
the Game Freak developers.
Fire.
Yeah, the Game Freak developers, a localizer for the Chinese, Mandarin language for the game, he went out on 4chan and was like, hey, we're making the DLC, we're localizing it, but the second wave of DLC is going to drop on Switch in Switch 2 in 2024.
Right.
And a lot of people are like, oh man, this shit's fake. And then he started like dropping like real information that he's a whole ass employee. And then Nintendo found out and did a cease and desist. Nintendo, like a lot of people leak shit on 4chan.
Yeah, you can get,
and, some of it's fake, but some of it's true.
You can get a lot of shit on 4chan low key.
Yeah.
I think, you know what?
But for Nintendo to come out and cease and desist that says a lot. And then an NVIDIA employee came out last year, or I think it was 2021. Yeah, 2021. An NVIDIA employee came out last year and said that there's a SoC being made for Nintendo. And then this past year, there was a ransomware attack where we found out that, it's pretty much confirmed that the Switch 2 is being made because the code name for Switch at NVIDIA is called NVN. The files that were found were called NVN2, and it dated back from 2019 with files last modified to 2021. And there were files about DLSS. And what we do know from modders, modding and dumping the firmware of the previous Switches is that the Switch OLED was supposed to be a Pro that used DLSS, but the tensor cores within the Tegra X1 are too weak. So they had to stop and halt that production and still pump out the OLED as like a premium device, but while working on the Switch successor.
Now, here's the thing. Who was trying to talk the whole time? Who was that in the background?
I think it was DJ trying to chime in.
What I was going to say was, I was gonna say I do believe that they doing it. It's just like Toxic said, they was making so much money. They trying to get all they Switch inventory out, and then they gonna sell Zelda. They trying to see if people gonna go for the $70 bait and whatever other games they might have for the back half. And really, I don't think they have any games for the back half because they're not gonna be at Gamescom. They haven't confirmed that they're gonna be at Summer Games Fest. So we might be getting that announcement pretty soon.
Well, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I want to say this, right? You would because Chris would say some shit like this, right? That I'm being irrational for.
No, you're not.
Hold on. Wait. To be irrational about the Zelda situation, right? But he continues to compare Zelda to other games that's not in the same genre. You know what I mean? That's like me trying to play Devil May Cry and try to chop trees down, or Grand Theft Auto and try to chop trees down. They have different gameplay philosophies. It doesn't make sense to compare them at all. That clip should never be used. They're not the same game. You know what I mean? And like, just because you like exploration and shit like that, there are faults to Zelda Breath of the Wild, such as combat in general. I don't give a fuck what you can do in terms of like, you know, trying to exploit the systems or whatever the case is. The AI is not good enough to be doing all that. You're literally making more work for yourself to make a chain reaction and whatever the fuck that they're doing for the last 10 years. Okay, you're just exploiting the systems. But like, again, it ain't like a challenge. It's been known that the AI doesn't challenge you for a lot of Nintendo games. And that's the funny thing. Like, why are you comparing any PlayStation game to it? So then you want the smoke when somebody confronts you about this shit. You want the fucking smoke. They're not the same fucking games. There's no. You talk about physics. I don't chop a tree down; it magically becomes a bundle of sticks. That ain't physics. That's a gameplay mechanic, and it works perfectly for Zelda. You burning grass and creating updrafts. That's a mechanic for Zelda because that game is mostly exploration. And that's what it does good at. Okay, every game has its fucking flaws. Well, I don't think I'm being unfair to criticize the parts that needs to be criticized. And I don't think I need to own the fucking Switch and keep it just to fucking say that I have it. I said this earlier, when I got my apartment, I didn't need to live here to figure out if I wanted it or not. They give you a sample of it. You like the sample, you can buy it. And if you don't like it within that year, you can choose to renew your lease or not. You don't need, it's a ridiculous comment to sit there and say that, oh, you need to own it. You don't need to own this shit. You just need to have a sample of it. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Why are you getting in your feelings like I'm making fun of your fucking significant other because I don't like it? That's the world. You're not going to like everything. That's what it is. People don't even, I have to deal with this every day about somebody saying that Horizon is boring. I don't even fight them. You may think it's boring, good for you. Like, I don't understand, like, you're getting all in your feelings because somebody don't like how the gameplay works or whatever. That's their preference. Who cares? You like it. That's all that matters. You don't have to go online and be crying about what other people feel like and talk about Metacritics and Game of the Years. That Game of the Year don't mean shit to me. Or the scores don't mean shit to me. I don't even like Grand Theft Auto got crazy high scores. I don't like Grand Theft Auto 5 or 4 at all. I don't think it deserved it, to be perfectly honest with you. But more power to them that reviewed it that way. I don't like it, and I move it along. I'm not mad at Nintendo, and I'm not a fanboy. And when it comes to PlayStation, I will rip them the fuck apart with their shit that they're doing. I think they are pandering to fucking things to try to make extra money. And I'm tired of seeing the fucking story-driven walking through fucking cracks and slowing your walk down just for story exposition. I don't like that shit either. I'm tired of that formula. I really am. God of War was slowed down because you couldn't even, like, you had to slow down to listen to this nigga talk. As good as his voice is, I don't want to hear that shit all day. I want to play the game. That's what it is. I can admit that as a fan of PlayStation. Not a fanboy, but a fan. And I feel like it's irrational to not take criticism for it. Or people that are genuinely concerned about the fucking game, right? And sit there and get mad at somebody that's genuine and just say that they don't have a right to talk because they don't own the fucking console. How ridiculous is that shit? To me.
I mean, I think people should own the console though.
Say again?
And play some of the games.
Say that one more time.
I said I think people should own the console and play the games.
Well, you can own it and not own it anymore. Like, there's such thing as returning shit. Yeah,
but you said you like Kirby, right? Did you play Forgotten Land?
Yes, and I don't like it. I haven't liked it even when they had the Kirby on N64. I'm not looking for isometric or partially 3D. I want a full environment. I have a bias for 3D open world games. I won't lie to you. You don't need to own something. How ridiculous does that sound? I need to fucking keep it and don't like it just to prove to some internet niggas that I have it. I don't need to do that shit.
So everything everything that you're pretty much like peddling is just anecdotal.
It's
just stuff that you want.
It was always my opinion, not anecdotal. It's my opinion. Okay, the internet is full of fucking opinions. So why?
Yeah, but I think it's just weird to.
It's not weird.
I think it's weird to sit and rant about like Nintendo, but then it's like, oh, it's just my opinion on whatever you about Nintendo.
But my whole thing,
But I don't play Nintendo games.
I do. That's the thing. But the thing is, when I had my Switch,
he would play.
I would play it if they
that he want to play, and make games that are.
I'm looking for. I'm waiting at the. I'm waiting at the gate for a specific type of game. That's it. I want an evolution of the type of Nintendo games that they do. I don't think that that's a crazy fucking concept.
No, but they're not gonna
I
just find it weird because Kirby evolved since 1990.
Of course it does.
Kirby literally has a 3D game.
I don't think you understand what I'm saying, right?
They playing it too safe.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Then it shouldn't be a question. So what I'm saying is my opinion. Hold on, wait a minute. I don't want to talk over people.
Go ahead.
I keep like trying to.
But I'm more confused.
Confused about what?
Yeah, I'm more confused that like you're saying that I played Forgotten Land, then you say, oh, I want an open world 3D Kirby game.
Okay.
Like it's a little strange because that's not what Kirby was. Kirby was never about going.
But you
to
can
be,
sit there and say
you can sit there
and say about Mario, right? You know what? I've always played Super Mario. I played Super Mario back then, the Mario Brothers, and that was always a 2D game. It was never about that. But then all of a sudden, Mario 64 came out, Mario Galaxy shit. Come on, man.
Yeah, but you can't say that about Mario though, because Mario has always had different genres within its, IP.
Oh, you can want things. You can want things. I want a 3D fucking Kirby. That's what I've always wanted. I've always wanted that. I wanted a 3D Sonic.
You have a 3D Kirby.
I mean a fucking fully fleshed out environment. I'm not talking about just having polygonal characters. I wanted
that's not Kirby. I mean, there are fleshed out environments.
Listen to what I'm saying.
If you played Forgotten Land, man, those are fleshed out environments.
Listen to what I'm saying. I wanted a 3D Sonic game, and people can argue that's not what Sonic is. But they ended up making a 3D Sonic game. Okay, cool. I purchased it, and I played it, and I want it, and I like it. Okay, cool. Just because you can always want something better for yourself. I want something more. That's just my opinion. It's not to say that not to say that it's a problem with what they currently have.
I would say it is a problem, right? Because when we talk about Pokemon, how you say you want an open world Pokemon has hurt Pokemon.
It only hurt.
That's not Pokemon. Pokemon is not an open world game.
It was already 3D and open when the fucking red and blue was out there. It was just isometric in 2D.
No, it was never open world.
But it was
Pokemon was linear.
When I say open world, meaning that there's an environment that you can explore that's not in a particular path. It's always been like that.
Pokemon has been
the same thing with Zelda. Zelda would be considered open world. As a matter of fact, when they made Zelda Breath of the Wild, they made the game in 2D and then formed it into 3D. That's how much.
Yeah, they based it off the first game because the first game lets you do whatever you want.
Well, no, it was allowed. You were allowed to travel and shit like that and explore. So that's how they got the concept. Not whatever you want, but the thing is.
Yeah, from the first Zelda game. Zelda game, you can go wherever you want.
And they took that from the first Zelda game and made it into a linear game when they made the N64 version, when they put it in 3D, because they didn't have the horsepower to do it. And then when they got the horsepower to do it, they made Breath of the Wild. Okay, fine. It's not out of the realm of possibilities for me to want a 3D, fully explorable Kirby game. Because when in my head, any 2D game could become a 3D game if you're good enough of a developer. That's how I'm looking at it. I didn't even like Grand Theft Auto until they brought that bitch to 3D, like fully 3D. I played Driver. One can say that it could have been a 2.5D isometric fucking game. That's how Grand Theft Auto was, but they brought it into 3D and they did it elegantly. You can't sit there. You can't sit there and negate somebody's desire for something.
I mean, you really can when there's been actual like complications shown.
You cannot negate someone's
like
desire
with Pokemon. Yes, you can. With Pokemon, yes, you can, bro.
Because what you're saying is that
yes, you can. As a person that has beaten every single Pokemon game out here, bro, and has been in the competitive scene for 10 years, I can truly say that, man.
I don't want to do this. But look.
Like you can mute me all you want. That just shows me that this is too deep of a conversation.
Everybody is saying this, right? You can.
Who is everybody?
Everybody say that you should be able to have an opinion. Is what I'm saying. That's my opinion. That's where it stops.
Yeah, but your opinion comes from pure ignorance because you don't play Pokemon.
I stopped playing Pokemon.
Yeah, but you don't play Pokemon though.
I stopped playing Pokemon.
All right, you stopping playing Pokemon is pretty much saying that you don't play Pokemon. It means that when was the last time you played Pokemon?
Alyssa, I'm gonna be back, bro.
When was the last time you played a Pokemon game, Alyssa? Come on now, it's not a hard question.
No, I'm texting somebody. The last time I played Pokemon. What do you? Come on, DJ. What?
Go ahead, Alyssa. Go. I'll be back.
No, go on. If you wanted to interrupt, then you got it. Hello?
I don't know what DJ doing. I don't.
The bottom line is this: people can have an opinion. That's the end of the discussion.
Hold on. Let's not skip over my question. What was the last Pokemon game you played?
The last time I played a Pokemon game was the Diamonds and Pearls.
All right. That's damn near 20 years ago.
That doesn't matter how long it is, dude.
Hold on, brother. Yes, it does.
I want you to understand this, dude. It is an opinion. I stopped playing it for a lot of reasons. I stopped playing it for a lot of reasons. You're literally telling people, and everybody can hear this shit. You're literally telling people don't have an opinion.
Of course everybody can hear it.
You're literally saying don't have an opinion. I'm the arbiter of fucking Pokemon.
Yeah, because you don't play it, bro. You don't play it. You have not seen
tell me Pokemon. What I want to have. Bro. You can't tell me that.
Bro, you don't play the games because you don't. You didn't play the games to see how long it went, bro.
That's it, dude.
You didn't play enough of the games to see how it dropped in quality.
This is look, you guys here.
Like what are we doing here, bro? Like, all right, let me ask you this, Alyssa. How did Pokemon drop in quality? Huh? How did Pokemon drop in quality?
The second they start making ice cream cones for fucking Pokemon and a pair of fucking keys.
That's a fucking lie. That is a lie. You want to know why? That is a lie. That is a lie. You want to know why?
Look, there's so many insects and bugs and shit like that.
Dog, bro.
I'm arguing with you, dude.
This is listen, because you're talking to somebody that actually plays Pokemon, right? You mentioned the ice cream cone Pokemon, right? That's Generation 5. Generation 5 is among most Pokemon fans' favorite generation. It's the generation that actually made Pokemon become more mature, a better storyline, and the storyline was also mature. It was deep, it was dark, and there's a whole bunch of content throughout the game, and it spanned a sequel that was a follow-up, and it connected directly to the first game. Hold on. Let me finish this. I need to explain this.
I appreciate you. In your opinion,
I need to explain this so you get the context.
I don't need to know any more context because what you're telling me...
You do need to know the context.
What you're telling me is that you don't want an opinion. That's what you're telling me. That's it. I can't have an opinion. You're the arbiter of Pokemon. That's what you're telling me.
Yeah, because out of this whole entire community, nobody plays Pokemon besides me, so what the hell?
There's other people that have all sorts of different type of viewpoints of Pokemon.
Nobody within this community plays Pokemon. Except for me.
That's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous. I can't even.
It's not ridiculous. Find somebody, dude. I was literally in Don's space yesterday talking to some fraud ass Pokemon fan. I asked him name a gym leader. The nigga couldn't even name a gym leader. Come on now, what are we doing here?
I am not going to argue with you about some elitist bullshit. Again, if I stop,
it's not even elitist bullshit. You don't even play the games, bro. I'm asking. I'm trying to explain the context. You don't want to hear the context because you know it destroyed.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you this right now, right? You can like Pokemon. You can like Pokemon, and that's cool. You can like Pokemon. If I stopped playing Pokemon, there was a fucking reason. I didn't like the direction. You can't tell me I can't like the direction.
You blamed it on the ice cream cone, right? But Generation 1 had a fucking...
I stopped.
Generation 1 had a magnet Pokemon, man. Let's be honest, man. Stop.
Stop it. When I'm muting the fucking mic, I'm muting the mic for a reason. I don't like doing that shit.
Nigga, this is a Twitter space. Do you really think I give a fuck about a Twitter space? You think I give a fuck about another grown man muting me on a...
Get out. So here's the thing, right? I'm not going to do this. The bottom line is this, right? And I hate to do this, but I'm not going to sit there and talk over somebody and sit there and talk about, oh, I can't have a fucking opinion about something. I stopped playing Grand Theft Auto, dudes. I stopped playing Grand Theft Auto. You know why I stopped playing Grand Theft Auto? I bought all of them. 1, 2, 3, Vice City, San Andreas, Liberty City Stories, fucking Vice City Stories, Grand Theft Auto 4, and Grand Theft Auto 5. And I stopped there. What do you... I would never say that I'm the arbiter of shit ever in life. Ever. I understand people like the direction of Pokemon. Grand Theft Auto. I will say this, right? There is Guap, right? We all know who Guap is, right? Guap loves Grand Theft Auto. I can't tell him that he can't love Pokemon. Am I crazy? Who else want to step up in this bitch? Dan, where you at?
I'm here.
Am I fucking crazy? Or what?
What in the whole Pokemon argument?
Yeah.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Listen, the Pokemon formula hasn't changed since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone tries to pretend it has, like the Pokestans, that it's changed. It hasn't changed, dude. It's the same shit. It's the same fucking formula. So saying that you don't enjoy it now, yeah, you have that right. What the other dude was saying, he kind of had a point, but you also have a point because the shit has not changed in 20 years. It's the same shit. So if you didn't like it then, you're probably not going to like it now because it hasn't changed.
But what you're avoiding, right, is to literally say, right, this is what you're saying. You're literally saying that you can't have an opinion. That's what I'm talking about. You can love Pokemon and all the changes that they've done. Cool, right? That's cool.
Yeah.
And I cannot like.
You can still have an opinion.
He's saying I can't have an opinion because I don't know any better. The last
Pokemon I completed was. All
I'm saying is this: I continue to play the shit. And eventually, I'm like, I don't like it, and I stopped becoming invested in it.
Mm-hmm.
What's the problem?
Nothing.
Okay. Where did I go wrong with that?
I think he was trying to. I think his main point is that you may not, because you haven't touched the series for so long, then you might not have insight on some of the changes, but I think that's the point that he was trying to get across to you. I think the point that you was trying to make is, I'm pretty much aware of the series. I don't really. I checked out.
No, his response could have been simply, "Hey yo, right? You probably should try it."
Yeah.
A lot of things have changed. You probably should try it. And that would have been the end of it.
You can say fair enough.
Then I can say fair enough. I can't say anything. Look, if he said to try it, maybe you should like it. And I would have told him, okay, the review scores and the performance or whatever the case is. And he would have told me, listen, you should still try it. They fixed it or whatever the case is. And I'd be like, well, touche. Fair enough. In a discussion. But the second you tell me I can't have a fucking opinion, what kind of elitist bullshit is that?
Yeah, I hear you.
That's the problem with a lot of the Nintendo fucking fans. That's the problem. Nintendo can't make a decent hardware because you have every fucking 1,001 excuses about why they ain't making it. I don't give a fuck about no production line. Who the fuck cares? I'm a fucking consumer. I can't say too much about Sony and what they're producing because they haven't said anything. But I'm going to tell you, if they create this game, right, or they have a next showcase, and it's a bunch of fucking minorities dealing with fucking problems, and you're just injecting this fucking shit just because it's the cool thing to do, I ain't fucking with it. I'm being honest with you. I'm not. Make a good fucking story. If it happens to have minorities, great. If it, you know what I mean, that's what it is. But if you're just injecting things just to inject it in there, there's a fucking problem with it.
Don't just force it. Yeah, don't force it.
When I say minorities, I'm specific, any fucking minority. Black people too.
Yeah. It's whatever's trending, dude. It's like people do it. Every company does it. These corporate companies, they create stuff because they think, oh shit, it's woke.
They're like, I'm gonna add some black people in here because that's the thing. I'm telling you right now, I will sell my fucking PS5. They keep doing some raggedy shit like that. That's how deep I am with it. I ain't playing no more fucking games. I don't like when corporations do fucking monetize my shit. I don't like it. You know why I don't like it? I don't have a problem with black characters or any other fucking character, Native American, whatever. I don't like it when you take that and put it front and center and then the story fucking suffers. Because you want to sit there and put this front and center. That's my problem. I just can't, I can't believe that the motherfucker had the audacity to go into my fucking space and say that I can't complain about something because I don't have it. I gave you ample examples that you don't need to fucking have something to say if you don't want it or want it. That's like if you're a heterosexual man, right? And you say that you can't say that you don't like it unless you did it. Unless you fucked the nigga, then that's the only way that you can say that you don't like it. That's fucking ridiculous. Or even talk about a fucking woman. Guess what? You can't say that you don't like pussy unless you fucking ate one. That shit sounds crazy to me. You don't need to have all that shit. You could just simply be like, it looks from a distance, I don't like it. Like I said, I moved to my apartment. I liked what I saw, and I decided to put my security deposit down and then take it. That's the end of it. I didn't need to live here and experience everything before I could think, do I want this apartment or not? That's how the logic is shot when it comes to these fucking fanboys, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo fucking fans alike. That shit's wild to me. And you gonna get mad. I've muted you, and you gonna unmute you. Get the fuck out my space. How disrespectful is that? Because you pissed off because you like Nintendo. Get the fuck out. Go on, man. What's going on? What's going on in 2099?
Yo, just real quick, because I'm watching the Lakers game and shit. I'm chilling right now, just real quick. But listen, I told you before that Nintendo has the weirdest fucking fans, and all the Nintendo fans, the hardcore Nintendo fans, a bunch of nut ass niggas. I told you that before, and you was like, nah, but listen, don't argue with no dweeb ass nigga with a fucking Animal Crossing profile picture, okay? These niggas get on here and they start talking that stupid ass shit, and then they immediately run to other spaces and start name calling a nigga like he doing you right now. So I say that to say, stop arguing with these weird ass Nintendo fucking bitch ass niggas.
Before you go on, I want to filter these bitches out of my shit. If you are that impractical, that beyond logic, get the fuck off my shit. I don't want to see your shit. Get out. I don't talk to no illogical fucking people. I've made my fucking statement 80 million times. I don't, like my grandma always say, I don't need to eat a whole cow to taste a piece of beef. I can just take a fucking forkful and eat it and be like, man, maybe. That shit's wild to me, yo. I feel like I'm going crazy.
Nah, yo, you already shouldn't be arguing with Nintendo fans, but him specifically, he's a bitch ass nigga. Like, he blocked me literally because we had the same kind of argument before, and his point has to be that he knows everything more than everybody, and he don't want to hear nobody else's opinion. So just him specifically, all the hardcore Nintendo fans are really weird ass niggas. But specifically that bitch ass nigga with the Bernie Mac Bush and a fucking Animal Crossing profile picture, don't argue with that bitch ass nigga, because he's a whole hoe out here. You heard me?
So let me ask you this, right? 2099. Am I crazy, right? For saying that I'm waiting for Nintendo to do something that I want before I purchase their shit.
Bro, no, because at the end of the day, listen, I'm a nigga that still has my Nintendo Switch from 2017. And at the end of the day, I said at the beginning of the year, I'm not buying no more Nintendo titles and I'm not supporting them no more until they actually put effort, because the shit is low effort, is copy and paste, and they are not expanding. I ain't gonna say expanding, they're not growing as much as they should be, because they're resting on all of the morals of their stupid ass hardcore Nintendo fans like that bitch ass nigga that refuse to say, you know what, it's 2023. Come into the fucking future and actually bring something innovative that the people want to play instead of just rehashing the same shit. It's 2023 and Pokemon still doesn't have fucking voice acting. I've played the new Pokemon, so I'm here to tell you the game does not have voice acting. The game was bugged and glitched to hell, and it was trash. So no, you're not crazy. These hardcore Nintendo niggas, they stupid, and they don't want to ask for no better.
Look, he's saying, how dare you tell me what I should ask for? I mean, the reason why you affect me, not you, but the reason why the Nintendo fans affect me is because I'm waiting for them. Just like with PlayStation, if PlayStation rested on their laurels, they wouldn't even have used their fucking first-party developers to create the things that people like nowadays. It took the downfall of the PlayStation 3 before that happened. And we need that shit to happen with Nintendo so I can get a proper game that I've been waiting for a very long time. The longer we continue on accepting mediocrity, even if it's a hardware phase, the second we do that shit is the second that we don't it doesn't work. We won't get what we fucking want. And that's going to harm Nintendo in the long run. You're going to keep the same thing with the formula. I fuck with music. There's a lot of great... Look, I'm going to tell you right now, since we haven't asked for decent music, the music fucking plummeted. We don't have good music anymore. Because you don't ask for good music. I mean, movies, guess what we have? Nothing but fucking superhero movies that sell. And it fucked up the whole industry. If you want Marvel or DC, you're not making no fucking money. That's why I'm an interested party when it comes to looking at how the fans operate. If it keeps it up, oh well, I guess the Nintendo's going to go into oblivion. Eventually, these young cats don't give a fuck what Nintendo has to offer or give a fuck what the music has to offer or whatever. They're going to go to another fucking phase and keep it the fuck moving. That's what it boils down to. But every time they gatekeep the whole industry because you like it, I want you to criticize Sony. Like when everybody was pissed off because there was no fucking romantic options other than what they had in Burning Shores, good. Tear them the fuck up because you needed to have, it makes it great to have a full-fledged romantic option system. It makes it better. Tear them the fuck up. Tear them the fuck up. You know what happened when people sat there and said that Horizon Forbidden West wasn't a good game, the melee system sucked, the game was boring? Guess what? They added that fucking melee system. Tear them the fuck up so they can do better. I don't see what the problem is. I don't get it. Let's stay. You know what the bottom line is? Let's jump off the Nintendo shit. The bottom line is this. This is the interesting thing, right? On the real, for real, people can sit there and cry about, see if I'm fucking here. Am I still here? Am I still on? Yeah. On the for real, right? You want to know what's going on with people? People really don't want new things. You know how I know they don't want new things? Because when new things are presented to them, there's always every fucking problem. It doesn't play like this. It doesn't play like that. It doesn't play like this. I don't like how this plays. It feels like this is broken. I don't like how this. They don't want that. If people are content with remixes of the same thing they've been playing for the last 30 fucking years, whether it be games or movies or fucking music, They don't want nothing new. They don't want nothing new. You know why they don't want nothing new? All their motor skills has to do with, it's all to do with their motor skills and what they're used to. They don't want their brains to expand and try something else new. So when you hear these dumbass bitches online talk about something, I just don't like how Sony keeps making the same thing over and over again. And then when Sony actually makes something different, all of a sudden, right, it doesn't fucking sell. You know what games sell? The same fucking cinematic experiences over and over again. You know why? Because people don't want nothing new. You want to know why Nintendo keeps selling the same fucking repackaged game with remixed fucking assets? Because they don't want anything fucking new. They don't want nothing new. None of them do. All these hardcore people, you with the same dry ass story with a fucking abandoned father, always with the fucking father issues and crying and all this other fucking bullshit. That's what you want. That's what you got. The next fucking, look, Ghost of Tsushima, daddy issues. Horizon with Ross dies, daddy issues. Fucking Last of Us, daddy issues with Joel. It's just daddy issues. That's what PlayStation fans want. They want some fucking broke ass daddy issue shit over and over again. That's the only time the game fucking sells. God of War, daddy issues. All of them is the same fucking shit. And that's why everybody claps for that shit. It's annoying. Then gonna try to tell me I don't have the right to fucking want something different because you played a couple of more games. Who gives a fuck what you want? Who gives a fuck what you think? The fuck out my space. You were fucking wild as shit for that nonsense. Talking about they pissed off at the fact that you have an opinion. Huh? You liberal now? It's crazy to me because it's like, what reality am I in? I almost feel like something's wrong. Like I feel like, where am I at? When did it become a situation where I can't be an individual? When did this happen? That's what I don't understand. When did that happen? When you can't be an individual, you say, go on, speak your mind, but then you speak your mind not like that, like this. When did this happen? Bring me to my last topic here. I ain't gonna try to hold you guys up, right? In terms of this shit, I've been thinking about reality, right? And what it means to exist. This is always do my little off-topic shit, right? Take a look here. Sorry about that. I always do my little off-topic shit, and something's been making me think here. Why is it so? Why do people value themselves so much in the reality that we live in? Why do you care about your individuality so much? Why do you care about your own opinions? And it made me think, like, why are we here in this reality? Why are we important? Why do we think that we are so important? You ever think about that shit? Like what is the nature of fucking reality? Why do we feel like we have to be here at all? Like, why do we have such an attachment to this reality that we live in if it doesn't matter? I know this is like left field, but I normally always talk about shit like this all the time. And I usually do these little off-topic sessions or just not gaming sessions to let you know who I am beyond gaming. And I do have these particular thoughts a lot of the times. It's interesting to me when I start thinking about just my existence and why and what I care about. Why do I like PlayStation? Why do I like the games that I like? Why do I like the music that I like? Yeah, it's the strangest thing that people hold so much high regards to their existence, but then turn around and say that existence is meaningless. We just here just to be here. I don't get that. I really love to understand, because I believe in purpose, right? I believe that everybody has a purpose. I believe that things happen for a reason. And if that's the case, then the fuck put us here? I studied quantum physics a little bit. And one of the interesting things about quantum physics is there's so many different ways of how this thing could go, you know. And the more I look into it, and maybe you guys need to take a look at this, but the more you look into it, the more you realize that reality is such a flimsy fucking thing, man. It's flimsy. For instance, the smaller you go in reality, the smaller you go, the less certain everything becomes. Time becomes less certain. Matter becomes less certain. You being solid, everything becomes less certain because somebody governed rules for things to function the way that they do. And the closer you look at it, the more this shit falls apart. It's like you're peering through the curtains of how things function. You start to see the code of things. I was looking at the Matrix the other day, and I'm like, you know, I almost feel like I'm in a matrix of some sort. Like I'm in some sort of matrix of some sort. Like it's this world feels. Y'all don't feel that? Like y'all don't feel like this shit fake? Like why? Like this shit is so. It feels like there's some sort of goal at the end of the tunnel, but why? Like why? Like what is this? Why even have any goal at all if there is none? We're just here, happen chance. Why have order at all? You know, I look at people and people are sheep all over everywhere I look. They're so easy to be manipulated by huge entities or corporations. I see people that are big fans of Cardi B. Why? People that are fans of Beyonce will spend their fucking 401k just to see this bitch. Why? I see people break dance and shit like that for a fucking console corporation like we just did just now. Why? Why do you feel so invested in a corporation? Why is that part of your existence? Why do you even care? All these people talk about the CMAs and they're really invested and they will hold spaces for 4, 5, 6, 7 fucking hours and be super invested in something they don't even have stock in. All these sheep. Is that what you find meaning in this existence? Is that why you do it? You find meaning in the corporation? That's what makes you whole and complete? That's what makes you feel like you can identify with other people? Is Beyonce, Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, Nintendo, PlayStation? Don't seem weird to you? Like, don't you have your own purpose? Don't you want to have your own, like, you want to wake up and be like, damn, I want to have a goal in life. I want to utilize the stuff that I'm good at and really, like, try to make money. And here you go with this dude capping for fucking Nintendo and giving reasons as to why the shit ain't good and why they haven't released another console. You capping for this fucking console as if you are you on the payroll? I don't understand why people will break their fucking necks, have tweet upon tweet upon tweet upon tweet upon tweet upon tweet on social media and say the wildest things just to cause engagement so somebody can like your fucking post. Is that your existence? That's your purpose? So for somebody to like your shit, for you to be followed by a whole bunch of people that have the same mindset, that's called hive mind. And guess what? The people that feel like they're the most individual are the main people that are caught up in this hive mind. It's crazy to me. They are literally swept up. You got the chicks with the purple hair and the bull ring nose, and they claim that all the ideas themselves are theirs. Then you have the fucking rappers. They all have dreadlocks and tattoos on their face. They claim that they're better than the next rapper with dreadlocks and tattoos on his face. And then you rap the same fucking way. And then you have these fucking female rappers that they all do the fucking twerk shit. And they all talk about nasty shit. And they say that they're better than the other person that's talking about nasty shit. And you have the fucking political fucking background. They talk about how they're better than the other person. And really, y'all just fucking same coin on different sides. None of you guys know what the fuck's going on. Motherfucker talk about he went on the fucking 4chan forum and he dug into the archives and saw that there was a console that was supposed to be released. You did all this fucking work to justify mediocrity. That don't sound crazy to you? Then you turn around and say that you can't have an opinion. Your opinion is invalid. Crazy. To me, that's nonsense. To me. Call me fucking crazy, but that shit sounds awful as a person that tries to free their mind. You stick to a corporation, and your reality is fucking a corporation that's telling you what to like. The same thing happened with Xbox. This nigga Phil told you to like Xbox and told you to like Game Pass. You know what? Actually, games are too damn expensive. You don't have enough money for games. You want Game Pass, and the niggas followed it. You're right. It is expensive. Look, if I guarantee you, if the media didn't slam Redfall, right? These guys would have been like, you know what? Redfall? Even though it's a mediocre game and it's buggy, I only paid $15 for it. So, I mean, I get it. It don't have to be good. It ain't like I paid $70 like you did. You paid $70 for this game. And look, you had to get patches. I only paid $15. The hoops and gymnastics these dudes go through to just be a part of a fucking group. That's your reality. Toxic. He sat there, and I ain't gonna block the dude. I don't need to block him. I don't really give a fuck. I guarantee you he'll block my ass. But guess what? I removed him from the fucking space because I told him ample time to shut the fuck up and stop talking over me. I gave him fair warning. Stop talking over me. And he has a propensity to talk over people. You're not hosting a fucking space, and you're going to try to talk over people with your nonsensical rhetoric about why Nintendo ain't released a console of any type of fucking technical prowess for 6 years.
Just a quick one.
Sure.
No, I just wanted to talk over you. Sorry, no. I'm only playing, man. No, I'm just trying to lighten the mood. But no, I see where you're coming from, man. I see where you're coming from. 100%. Continue.
It's just, to me, it's just weird. It's weird energy all over the place.
Man, that nigga a bitch. And y'all can tell him I said it. He's a bitch. Straight up.
Why you came back to say that shit?
Because he's a bitch. His mama raised a bitch. A straight bitch.
Why did you, well, look, what stake do you have in this dude?
And these is my views.
Because he likes
not
Digimon.
Illicit views. These is my views. That nigga's a hoe.
Is it because you're a Digimon fan?
No, I like all that shit. That nigga's a bitch.
I'm only playing.
Yo, 2099 is one of those dudes that he likes what he likes and he doesn't like what he doesn't like. It's just what it is. That's his opinion. We had conversations about Resident Evil and what I thought about it. And guess what? We walked away with totally different ideologies and thoughts about the same shit. And guess what? That's okay.
And we don't agree on a lot of shit.
I don't have to like it.
We don't agree on a lot of shit.
A lot of shit. But it was never any kind of heated discussion like what we just experienced. It was never like that. We
Josh,
just agreed to disagree.
How many Alyssa, actually, how many disagreements have we had over the but we just keep it moving
over the years. A lot of disagreements.
But this guy was just taking it way too personal, man.
Well, so nobody checked his ass. No, he is allowed to talk over fucking people. Never really allowed him to do that shit. And that's what he's accustomed to doing. I'm going to talk over you. I don't give a fuck what you're going to say. You don't know anything. I'm going to talk over you. Like for real? This is why Nintendo is allowed to continue to make consoles, remix the fucking skin of the fucking console, and then you buy it again and again and again. And guess what? Them fucking triggers or whatever the fuck you call it, the little controller stick things, whatever the fuck that shit is, horrible fucking controller drift. Oops, I just gotta buy another one for $70. Like, what? They literally took the Tears of the Kingdom that was using the existing hardware from 2017 and bumped up the fucking cost with the same development kit and sit there and say $70 because you know what? Fuck them. That's why. That's what they did. I don't want to go hard on Nintendo, but fuck it. You know what I mean? Like I said before, he's like, did you invite Chris Righteous to this shit? I mean, no. He has the ability to jump into space just like you did.
He a bitch too, and y'all tell him I said that, man.
You get mad at me, you indirectly talking about me, talking about some, you don't own the game, so why are you talking about it? Why are you talking about you not owning the game? Yeah, because I'm supposed to platinum a game before I tell everybody I didn't like it, but I platinumed it. What kind of message is that to tell the people? If you platinum the shit, apparently you like something about the bitch. Motherfucker screenshotting this shit because you know you full of shit. If you gotta screenshot your shit just to sit there and say, oh, see, I pulled up a screenshot from 2 years ago. I told you I like this game. That means you on some fuck shit. Something's going on with it. I don't got my receipt screenshot. I don't give a fuck, but you can go in my history and find out what I feel. Everybody that knows me know I like Horizon series. That's all you're gonna find on my timeline. Horizon and Gran Turismo. All the time. Or Gravity Rush. One of those fucking things. And that's it. You don't see me console warring, like, you know what I mean? I may say a funny thing or two. You know what I mean? But like that ain't me. And you can't call me a pony because guess what? I'm on the necks of PlayStation fans too. So I mean, what can you call me? I don't like Nintendo. I mean, is that a top? Is that something you could say? I don't know, man. What do you have to say about, like, why do you don't like these people?
Well, me personally, I don't like people that try to like enforce their opinions, but don't allow you to have your own opinion or challenge, their opinion with your own thoughts. I've found that in my interaction with these two people, I've never had an interaction with Chris Righteous, but in my interaction with Toxic, I basically said that it would have been dope if Xbox had real backwards compatibility, because I feel like the Xbox backwards compatibility was kind of half-assed to me, because you can't just put a game in there and it works. It has to be a game that they approve. So to me, I felt like it wasn't true backwards compatibility. And then so what he said was, well, let me do the voice. Well, the reason, guys, that it's not true backwards compatibility is because when the Xbox, they have the chips, right? So to be able to read the chips, it has to have so they have to be able to approve it, because you can't just have full backwards compatibility, because then it will cost more money. And I said, bro, I understand all the logistics of it. I'm just telling you, as a consumer, it'd have been dope if they would have had, full backwards compatibility. Well, it doesn't matter what you say. So I don't deal with people like that.
It sounds stupid, because it's like we're grown ass people. We clearly know what the fuck the subject is. We get it. Just like Chris Righteous was pissed off at the fact that Sony isn't acquiring Japanese developers. They're working with them, but they're not acquiring them. So if they're working with them and you're getting the games, why the fuck do you want them to acquire them? Furthermore,
Why was he
why?
annoyed, by the way? Can I just ask you, because I missed that conversation. Why was he annoyed that they're not acquiring Sony developers?
That's the question I was going to ask next. Because also with the same lips, he sat there and said, you don't need to have good graphics. It's all about the gameplay. So, okay. So if that's the case, why do you want why do you want Sony to buy them? Oh, I want them to elevate them. What do you mean? I thought you said that you don't care about graphics. That's the only thing Sony knows how to do, right? Is have good graphics, because everything else Nintendo covers. So what are you trying to say? Are you trying to say that you want the games to have better graphics? And if that's the case, then how come you're not asking Nintendo for better graphics and better hardware then? And the loop goes on and on. That's it. But you can't question that shit. They look at you, oh, you a fanboy. No, I'm not a fucking fanboy. I just like what the fuck I like and dislike what I dislike. That's just the end of it. Just like you wanted backwards compatibility, real backwards compatibility, where you can pop that shit and you don't got to think about it. There ain't nothing wrong with that shit. They're a $2 trillion company. Make this bitch work. Make it work. I don't need to know the fucking logistics. Make it the fuck work. That's all I care about. That's all I care about. You should be able to, with all the money that you have as a $2 trillion company, to make this shit work. If you can't make it work, don't fucking do it at all. Because you're going to give me false hope and expecting games to fucking work. And I have that expectation. But nope, you don't want to say that. You want to sit there and play like the logistics game. I'm not interested in playing no fucking logistics game. You want to say, and y'all heard how disrespectful the nigga was, right? Well, you think I care about some random nigga in the space? Then get the fuck out then. You don't gotta care about it. You good. You good. You don't gotta care about it. Just get the fuck out the space. You don't gotta care at all. You don't have you don't have to care. That means if you have enough fucking balls enough to sit there and tell somebody I don't give a fuck about your space, then you can get the fuck out. That's why I kicked him the fuck out. I didn't kick him out because I didn't want him to speak. I let him speak, but I kicked him out because he sat there and said that he don't give a fuck about me and my space and some random ass nigga. So I'm curious, why the fuck are you here then? That was my question to him, which he couldn't hear because he got kicked out. But like, that's it. It's just weird energy all around. All around you look at this shit, it's weird energy from fanboys. It's not even Nintendo fanboys. I gotta have stocks in a fucking company before I can say anything about them. Because Lord knows if I say something about a fucking company, then there's a fucking problem. You know what I mean? I gotta have all these stocks and been through Japan and all this other weird ass shit before I have some validity. I don't need your approval to like a fucking company. I don't need it. I don't think you get it. Honestly, I don't give a fuck what you want. And I told him that shit too. I want it. I want them to have better hardware. That's my only reason. And you can't refute that. I want it. That's my only reason. I want it. That's why I want it. That's it. And that should have been the end of this discussion. Well, it's nice to want things. He could have said that and kept it the fuck moving. And we would have continued on with the next topic. But niggas be in their own little reality. All these fanboys are in their own reality, man. All of them. From the Xbox people that think that this deal is going to magically go through some kind of way when it's not going to go through. The PlayStation dudes that sit there and think that Sony was going to buy every fucking body and they were going to make all sorts of manner of games without any consequences with budgets. Or Nintendo fans that will sit there and say that their games are the best games ever created and you don't need graphics. All of them niggas are in their own little reality. And I don't got time for that shit. I don't live in no fucking faux reality or some fake reality. I live in a real fucking reality. That's the end of it. Y'all don't like that shit. Y'all know what the fuck y'all can do. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, as a grown fucking man, that's my idea. That's what it is. I don't impose my ideology on you. That's what I believe. And to be a grown person to sit there and say that you can't have an opinion because my opinion is better, nigga. How old are you? 30? Go tell that shit to your employer. Do that. I dare you. I bet you clean the fuck up then. You won't be a Nintendo drone then. If you told that shit to your fucking employer, your employer will look at you crazy for your crazy ass ideology. Go tell that to your employer. See what the fuck happens.
Bro, I told you before that some people just thrive off of feeling like on the internet they actually matter, because some niggas is just like let's be honest, some niggas is just lame as fuck. And again, I always preface myself, anybody that don't know me, my views is my own, and I always speak for myself, and I speak very candidly and honestly. Some dudes, he looked like he's never, I don't know if you've seen him or whatever, but he looked like he's never touched a woman in real life in his life. So people like that get on the internet and they want to feel like they have a voice. They want to feel like they matter. They have a big opinion, and you are not allowed to challenge them because they is the shit. Because their real life suffers.
And that's what it boils down to. I'm not interested in anything you like. I don't need your approval. I don't think that people understand. I don't need your approval. Like, where do you get off of thinking that I need you need to be consulted about my opinions? Like I said, I gave you that crazy ass example, right? That's like somebody telling you if you a straight dude, you can't say that you don't like dick unless you tried it. That's how ridiculous the comment to me is. You gotta actually have a husband as a straight guy before you can make a complaint about why you don't like it, said thing. That's how crazy that shit sounds. It sounds wild to me. That you have to have it before you can make a judgment on it. I don't know what else to say. Other than I don't need your fucking approval. That's what I need. That's all I need to say. I don't need your approval. Go on with your other friends. Go on with your friends. Go on, talk to you. Y'all can have your little discussion about Pokemon. Go on. You're good. Y'all good. Y'all can all have their little conversation. Y'all can all huddle around. Y'all can be fans and geek out on your Pokemon. And Pokemon has been darker. It's been more realistic. And and Nintendo don't need to have another console because woe is them. They make $1 billion fucking dollars, billions and billions of dollars, and they just want to make sure that they can make a decent Switch that is almost at PS4 level. Almost at PS4 level. That's what you settle for. I'm okay with almost as PS4 level. Then you go try to flip it and say, hey, guess what? Have you ever played the Steam Deck? I know the specs of it. I don't want the fucking Steam Deck. Why the fuck would I want that shit looking after I install Horizon Forbidden West? Why would I want that anymore? And then the disingenuous videos of comparing Horizon to any Nintendo game. They're not the same game. How come Aloy can't chop trees down with a fucking stick? Maybe because it's a blunt object. Maybe that. Even if you could chop down a fucking stick, what are you going to do with the fucking, if you could chop down a tree, what are you going to do with the tree? What gameplay, implications would that have if you could chop down the fucking tree? What are you going to do with the fucking lumber after it falls? What do you do with it? Why would I need to burn fucking grass? Okay, so I can burn grass. What's the point of me burning grass for in the Horizon game? Why? That's not to take away from Zelda. That's their mechanics. Who's going to say something?
I was going to say the only reason why they want these mechanics in both games is so they can argue about it on Twitter. That's all it is. It's just an argument point, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no reason why you need that mechanic in Horizon, but because Zelda has it and Horizon doesn't have it, it's just another stick, no pun intended, to beat Horizon with or to argue with a PlayStation player with. It's so weird, man. You know me already. I told you a couple of years ago, even when we was doing like the PS Culture podcast, I don't fuck with the fanboy shit, man. I don't, bro. We don't have time for this shit, bro. Do you know what I mean? I'm in my mid-30s going towards my 40s. I've got like 3 kids and shit. I can't be arguing with no motherfucker about Pokemon. Why Pokemon? Do you know what I mean? It's just crazy. Dude, it's fucking crazy, bro. It's crazy. Just ignore these guys. Ignore these guys. I don't even know why you entertain them, to be honest with you.
No, I gave him a space, right? I've spoken to him before. I found it rude that he talks over people, but I was like, okay, I'll manage it. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? So I left it as is, right?
Yeah.
And I thought he was just listening to the conversations that he had. That he had some information on some things like the leaks and stuff like that. That's cool. You know what I mean? But the second he told me I can't have an opinion because you play more of it.
Yeah, what was that about?
That sounds crazy to me. He could have said that you can't judge the game based off of the this whole series. And I would have said touche with that one, right? Fair enough. But what I played back in Diamonds and Pearl, I didn't like it. I didn't like it, right? And he would have said, as a retort, you probably should play the new ones. They did a lot of changes. I would have probably said what changes they made. And he would have told me, and I would have either said I may try it out or I may not. And that's the end of it. You can't force somebody's opinions. How you gonna force somebody to want something? It just was a weird conversation. I felt like I was going like losing my mind. I was like, ain't no way he's trying to tell me I can't have an opinion. Ain't no fucking way. There's plenty of people that played Breath of the Wild and didn't even finish that bitch. They were like, it ain't even worth it. But here we are, man. Ain't nobody arguing with this nigga, yo. I just thought that he was gonna bring something to the table about the Xbox. That's the subject. He came in talking about something. I was being disingenuous about Zelda. Why? Because I want better graphics? Okay. Your retort to that, me wanting better graphics, is you should enjoy the gameplay. And I would be like, fair enough. I mean, I still want better graphics. That's just what I want. Like telling a gay person, yo, you should try, if it's a gay dude, you should try pussy. You ever try that? No, I didn't like pussy. Have you tried it before? No. You know what? You can't say that unless you try pussy. You can't say that at all. You better try it and you better have a wife. And then you can say if you like it or not. If not, your opinion is invalid. This nigga like what he like. Is she a lesbian? The bitch like what she like. The fuck? You gonna tell somebody you can't think this way? What kind of fucking communist shit is this, yo? You don't get the fuck out of here with that shit. Weirdo ass nigga. Anyway, that's all I had to say about this shit. I just found it was weird. Anybody have any last comments to this shit? Oh wait, somebody's saying something. Who that? Stage block. Get your ass in here.
I think it's perfectly reasonable to want Nintendo to make something that can something just more modernized, right? Because me personally, my Switch, like I don't travel a lot, so when I'm playing Switch, I'm mostly playing it dock. So all I want to know is like from a gamer's perspective, like or like a real Nintendo's fans perspective. Why do you think that I'm gonna play something like, for instance, Scarlet Nexus, which is one of my favorite JRPG? Why do you think I'm gonna play Scarlet Nexus with various dialogue options and relationship options and sprawling combat, different worlds, and why do you think I'm gonna play that? And then I'm gonna go play a fucking Pokemon game in 2023 that don't have voice acting. Does that make sense to anybody? I just want to know.
It's all about the gameplay, man. What do you mean?
I need to know if that makes sense. Why am I gonna play Miles Morales on my PS5, and then I'm gonna go from that to playing Kirby? It's perfectly reasonable to, as a fan, to speak up and say, you know what, I fuck with Nintendo, but look, it's 6 years later. We still playing on this fucking tablet that can't even hold a steady 30 FPS. Let's get something new. Let's get the ball rolling. Let's get something going. But the Nintendrons don't want to hear that.
You know what? Stage. You just brought up a fucking interesting point. Regardless of the graphics of Pokemon, why the fuck have they not even got voice acting? Like, look at games like Octopath Traveler. Like, even if they're like new sort of 2D-ish, 3D-ish, they got voice acting, bro. Even the 3D Pokemon games that have voice acting, it's fucking that is crazy if you actually think about it.
Did y'all see? But before I let Stagebot go, did y'all see the disingenuousness? What's going on, Stage? Did y'all see the disingenuous that he said? He said that the other fucking game.
So what's going on?
Hold on, wait, hold on. Can y'all hear me?
Have like a really big beef that happened?
Can y'all hear me?
I just got out of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got out of work.
I think somebody needs to tell him. Stage, can you hear me? Stage, can you hear me?
Is anybody else speaking?
No, Stage is still asking if anybody's speaking, so I don't think he can hear you, yeah.
Okay, let me get out and jump back in.
So, do y'all hear the disingenuousness from that dude? That dude said there was a game that was released in 2007 that looked better. I said, is it open world? No. You can't fucking compare them. The fuck? Weird ass shit.
Stage, you good, gang?
He's gonna need some time. Yo, Stage, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Can you hear us? All right. So what were you asking again? I hope you didn't jump in here and don't even know what's going on. What'd you say?
No, I
probably.
No, I just wanted to get caught up to speed with what you guys were like talking, because you were talking about like Chris Righteous and I think someone else.
Not really Chris Righteous. It was more along the lines of like he mentioned to me that he heard me interact with Chris Righteous, or he saw me interact with Chris Righteous, and he thinks that my desires for Nintendo is unwarranted because I'm being disingenuous some kind of way. And I explained to him, I said, since you talk to Chris Righteous, he don't want to join my space. Go run and tell Chris Righteous that it's disingenuous to keep posting a video between Breath of the Wild and Horizon when they're two different genres of game. Of Aloy beating down the fucking tree with a stick instead of an axe. You can't chop down a fucking tree with a stick. You know what I'm saying? But you keep putting that disingenuous video out there. So it moved on to Pokemon. He says, I don't feel like you could actually judge Nintendo Switch without a Nintendo Switch. So that's where the shit went downhill. I told him, when I got my apartment, I didn't need to get the apartment and live there for a year before I decided I don't want to live here. You have a demo, you test it out, you say, okay, I can feel this. And then I did,
Yeah.
I took a leap.
Yeah, I mean, you can see
any other purchase.
You can look at a preview. You gamed a certain amount of numbers of years to know what you'll like out of a product, et cetera, et cetera.
Basically,
yeah.
He said that's not enough.
Yeah, in this,
he said I need to own it. At least
in this community, yes, that's the case. Yes,
he said I need to own the Switch.
Thing. I got in trouble with. Well, actually, I didn't even do any of that, but I got in trouble with Tehran in his group before I blocked him. One of the girls in his group came after me, accusing me of not playing Forspoken when I was hyping the game up, but I was a little let down by certain things I heard in the review, and I was trying to discuss like a certain topic, and they're like, "Oh, you didn't play the game, so what? Why are you acting like you didn't play the game?" I'm like, "I'm not acting like I played the game. I'm just talking about a concept of story writing that reviewers talked about." They're like, "Okay." So, so they wanted to go do a trial, and I raised my voice, and I was like, yeah. So I don't talk to none of them no more. So that's all you can do. You know, like it's and if you don't feel like playing the game and you want to speak on it, well, you've got to know which ears you're speaking to. You know, some people don't want to talk to people who haven't, you know, laid a hand on Breath of the Wild. So about Breath of the Wild. So I mean, I'm cool with. I understand why you might not like Breath of the Wild. It's the same reason a lot of people might not. You know, and you have certain standards that you have with. But it's not like you're giving people advice on how to, you know, what to do in the game or anything like that. You're just stating your grievances with Nintendo, and maybe if they do something with the next console, perhaps you might dive in. Who knows? For me, that grievance I had was dealt with better, you know, with the Switch. That I had with the Wii U and the Wii. So eventually, your time will come if they do what you want. But I mean, people can't get mad at you for, you know. But it's almost like they want you to keep your mouth shut. This is the internet. Everybody
That's basically what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know, this is the internet. People don't want to hear people's opinions. It's just how it is. But I can't say for sure with Chris Righteous on the situation because I wasn't there. But you know, I do know for a fact that the kind of sentiment that if you haven't played something, don't talk about anything, even if in you know, a prospective way, you know, unless you're kind of hyping it, and they're like, "Oh, buy the game," you know. So it's as if there isn't a whole bunch of shit to already buy. You know, it's a pretty stacked year.
Basically,
yeah.
And that's really what it boiled down to. I mean, not to drag this shit on and on, but that's basically what was that was the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Yeah.
I don't like the direction. I mentioned I don't like the direction.
Yeah. You've watched enough.
That should have been the end of the conversation.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand.
You know what I'm saying? And he took it to fucking heart and then tried to talk over me. So yeah, I kicked his ass out of the fucking space.
Yeah,
I don't need to block the nigga.
Yeah.
I just kicked him out. You're not going to interrupt me because you want your opinion to matter more than mine.
Yeah.
In my space.
No, but I don't think that's
you know what? He
like, you know,
but here's the thing. He look. Here's the thing, though. It's not a blockable thing. I don't feel like it is either. But here's the thing. He said I was going to mute him, and I kept muting him. He kept unmuting him himself just to say something. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? He said, you think I care about some random person in the space? All right, cool. You don't care. Get the fuck out my space.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
It is what it is. Yeah.
You don't want to respect the conversation, and I'm articulating my shit well. Then get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to. That's the end of it. The end of the conversation is when I said that my opinion is that Nintendo needs to do better before I purchase their shit. That's the end of it.
Yeah. Well,
that's my opinion, though.
Opinion. It can't. If that's
he literally said, I don't think that you can say that. That's what he told me.
It's an opinion, though. It's your standard.
That's what we were saying.
Yeah,
it's an opinion.
You can't.
Yeah, but I played Pokemon and I played it all the way up until now, and I feel like you don't play Pokemon. What's the last time you played Pokemon? 2006 or 7. You can't say nothing. LOL.
Well, I don't. Were you talking about Pokemon?
I said that I want Pokemon to look better, and he mentioned or be better. And he mentioned that Nintendo doesn't have control over Pokemon, and I said, okay, cool. I didn't know that Nintendo didn't have any kind of creative
Game Freak,
decision.
Yeah, they're only.
I didn't think they had I know, but I didn't know that it was none at all. He said it was 35%, and I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, they couldn't find nobody else other than Game Freak or something. He says no. So I said I can see that.
Yeah.
He also said he's the only person in the community that plays Pokemon. That's a PlayStation player. He's just talking nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how that went down. And I'm like, okay, so you're literally telling me nobody can have an opinion. Like, there's series that I stopped playing over time because I don't like it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Grand Theft Auto is one of them.
Yeah.
I don't need to continue to play Grand Theft Auto to be an arbiter of fucking decision making. I don't even want to be the arbiter of any fucking decision making. My opinions are my own. And whatever, if that's just the end of it. You can't make me like what you like. If I stop playing the game, I stop playing it for a reason. Not because like that's it. I've made it abundantly clear that all of the things that I was saying was my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, fair enough. I mean, if you feel that the gameplay and the graphics aren't up to par for you, that's pretty much your standard. Nobody can take that from you, and nobody can argue out of it.
He literally said, just like what Dan said, I can't say that because I needed to play every single Pokemon up until last year.
No, because the thing is that it does help to be able to have like an in-depth understanding of what you like and don't like, and have previewed the game perhaps. To that end, maybe he has a point, but the issue is that you can still, as a gamer who has gamed for a long period of time, look at a game and say, this doesn't seem to be up to my standards. Maybe my standards changed when I became more focused on, realism and things like that. And maybe I want Nintendo to push power and their limits beyond what the Switch is capable of, as far as I've seen.
Well, I told him, I said I want Nintendo to make a home console.
Yeah, that's just not going to happen.
I know it's not going to happen. I said what? He said why? I said because I don't play with handhelds anymore like that. I don't game on the go, so it doesn't make sense to me to game on the go anymore.
Yeah, so but you can still dock it. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He was like, "Well, why would you?" Because I wanted. That's my only answer to you.
Yeah,
I wanted.
Yeah, but
whether they do it or not, it's not the debate. It's what I'm saying. I want it to be that way.
And
okay,
when we do that, we kind of have to change the argument to something that's not exactly literal, but actually something that is thinking in a prospective state, as opposed to like now. Like now we're looking at a situation where that's not really possible for Nintendo. We know the success that they've had here, Japan, everywhere. So the chances of them actually making a traditional home console is low right now.
It's very low, and that's understood. But that was my reason. I said, I know, but I was telling him that was my reason.
Yeah.
The argument the discussion should have stopped right there. I don't know what to tell you. They're making another hardware. He had all these excuses and leaks, right? About Nintendo doing what they're doing. He had all these fucking leaks.
Yeah, but I think Toxic should agree with you on that part, because he said that you don't understand that they are making another console. It's probably going to be released next year or whatever the case is, and it's going to be basically the Steam Deck. And I'm like, you don't understand my argument. I don't want a fucking handheld at all. I want a home console. Why? Because I want it. That's why. Okay, I see it. Now I see the divide. Yeah, I see it though. Okay. Yeah, because
you know what I'm saying. I'm like, I don't like. He says that it's near PlayStation 4 quality. That's what you want?
Well, it's Nintendo. They're behind, so I mean,
it doesn't. No. I hate that statement. It's Nintendo.
Well, that's the problem. Nintendo just so happens to be very brilliant at what they do, and they can push tech, even all those years back, in a way that they, we should be expecting way more today. But we're just gonna have to deal with the fact that they make their own decisions, and move at their own pace, and they profit off of everything right out the gate. So, they don't leave it to chance.
Yo, listen, but this is the y'all got some good points, by the way. But listen, this is kind of what Alyssa is trying to say, and I feel the same way. Like, if the Nintendo is comfortable in doing what they're doing, they're having a lot of success, so the chances that they will, modernize a console is very slim. Mm-hmm. With that being said, Pokemon Sword and Shield, which was a bare minimum effort of a game, which still does not have voice acting. I'm going to keep saying it because it's just the most blatant disrespect of a consumer ever.
Yeah.
Sold 25 million copies. If people actually stood up and actually stood on something and actually gave their opinion and actually fought back against the blatant lazy shit and said, you know what, this game don't got no voice acting, it's buggy as shit, it's still the same formula, albeit with a smoke and mirrors open world, we not buying this shit. If Sword and Shield did 8 million copies, that would indicate to Nintendo, okay, we have to change something up. If people looked at Tears of the Kingdom and they said, you know what, it's got the same open world as Breath of the Wild, albeit a little bit expanded. The only thing we added is a fucking Lego mechanic where you can blend weapons. You know, it's not that big of a difference. A little bit upgraded, not that big of a difference. If people said that and said, you know what, we ain't buying this shit, then they would feel like they have to do something. But because people are going to go out and get this game, it's going to cross 25 million. Pokemon's going to continue to do 20 million. And then you got stupid idiots like that toxic bitch ass motherfucker that are going to constantly defend every little fucking thing that they're going to do. This is why they are complacent and they don't want to innovate and they don't want to actually.
I think it might be an outsider thing. Maybe like that's what it sounds like to me. Like maybe not for you, but for listen, you know. The thing is that I've talked to Toxic a lot, and he tends to like go hard at Nintendo, you know. And so like the thing is that like, especially when it comes to like 60 frames per second and you know, gameplay with certain types, not maybe like Nintendo core games, because Nintendo tends to have a little higher range of quality there. But like game for games, he bemoans the state that their games are in, like, and how hard it's going to be for them to like move on and once to, you know, to like a better place where they can how to say that, make better quality, because exactly as you said,
you're breaking up, bro.
They make too much money off of these games, and they're doing the bare minimum. Like,
well, that's
what
the point.
incentive do they have?
That's the point. They have
for a while now, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He turns around, he goes on social media to complain about me needing to have the console in order to speak about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit there and buy something that I clearly see.
Perspective. Yeah. Yeah, I think.
But that's kind of, that's weird. That's kind of like black people, right? Yeah. Our shit is laid bare for everybody to see. All of our fucking baby daddy, baby mama drama, fucking killing in Chicago and all that shit, right? Mm-hmm. And then when some other race talks about it, you can't say nothing unless you black. Yeah, they can. Everybody can see that it's fucked up, and then like what? Like you can't say nothing about it because you ain't a part. Get the fuck out of here, yo. With that elitist bullshit, yo. It's fucking down. How hard he goes.
The thing is, that's as far as I can go because I wasn't there, so
I mean that's the whole shit. The whole shit is recorded. So honestly, I said before, like it is what it is. You know what I mean?
In this space too. Was it in this space?
It was all in this space. I don't really talk to Toxic like that.
I don't. Later, then I'll talk.
I don't follow. I don't follow Toxic anyway. But like, you know, I have never had a bad interaction with him like that. It was just very weird to me that he came out of the fucking woodworks on some crazy shit, being pissed off. It was weird that he was that fucking upset about me not playing Pokemon. I play Pokemon more than any other person. Okay. I can still feel like how I feel like. When people talk about Horizon, the only thing I can tell them when they say it's boring, that you try all of the mechanics. And I leave it like that. If you didn't try all the mechanics, you can't really say it's boring. If you just tried the bow and arrow and it's kept using that over and over, then you didn't play the game to its potential. But that's a localized issue. That's not like over the course where I just like, I don't like this shit and just stop playing it.
Yeah, but the thing is, people have to try all the mechanics to know that it's boring to them. It's just the core mechanics itself. Yeah, there might be some extra trappings here and there, but I mean, you haven't played Breath of the Wild at all, have you?
No, I have.
Oh, yeah. So then you have a base for what you're saying, at least. So I mean, as long as there's a base, it's just like
he said I needed to own the fucking Switch and own the game and beat it and still have the fucking Switch. What if I fucking played Breath of the Wild, beat it, and then sold the whole console?
No, because
I'm invalidated altogether.
That's not necessarily needed. Because the thing is, you will know within a fraction of the amount of time that the duration of the game exists, that you actually want the game, fully, and to spend up for the license, so.
That's like saying you need to have an Xbox to realize that Redfall looks like shit. It makes no sense.
Oh Jesus, that game.
No, but that's what it is. That's what it is. For you to claim that you're an elitist and nobody can say anything because you were the main person, you played it. All right, cool. There's some things in Horizon series that I don't fucking know. And there's some things I'm still learning. I haven't even really dove into the RPG elements like that. It's just reflexes a lot of the time. Now I have, and I'm having even more fun with the fucking game. Fine. Yeah. I would never say that I'm the fucking king of it, but I will say I put in a serious amount of time in the game. And I have a lot of weight into what I say, but I would never say I'm literally the only person you could go to. It was just a dumbass comment. It really dumb.
Would you say that that's an ego flex?
What for what?
For let's just say one is good at Breath of the Wild, one is good at Pokemon, and you're good at Horizon. Like, you could say that you guys are pretty much even where each franchise is concerned, correct?
Even I won't say that shit. There's some people that literally spend all day looking at the stats. I just don't look at the stats. I don't play Horizon like that. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And the same, like I would say I know a lot, but I would never say that I'm the fucking master of the shit. That's the same thing with Chris Righteous. Chris Righteous says that there's so many things that you can learn from Breath of the Wild, but you don't play it like that. You beat the game and you explored it and shit like that, and that's all you did. You didn't fucking go crazy on the fucking mechanics. You didn't discover the shit that they discovered. So it's like, well, okay, so you're showing it. Oh, you didn't discover it. I can't speak on the RPG mechanics of Horizon because I don't really dig deep like that. So it's just a weird, like I said, weird flex, weird people, weird fanboys. I'm not dealing with it no more. Nope.
Yeah. I guess when it comes to that game, it tends to be a very sensitive spot. I mean, even for me too, but I'm not really that sensitive.
You're a fucking adult. That's the whole thing. You're an adult. You should be able to talk. That's the problem with the world nowadays. You should be able to take criticism altogether and stop acting like a fucking kid. Not everybody's going to like what the fuck you like. I learned that shit not too long ago, like 5 years ago. Not everybody's going to like how you like it or agree with what you do. Not everybody's going to like it. That's cool, though. That's the real world.
I understand.
People are fucking tripping. People are tripping out because somebody else have an opinion.
When you have a situation like this, there are the voices that come up to the top tend to be very strong personalities. When Toxic speaks,
the thing about it is he came into this shit, right, and sat there and tried to do what he normally does, which is talk over people, because he thinks in his head that he's better than other people, that he knows more than other people. I should say, not better, but he knows more than other people. That's what he was trying to do. And it wasn't going to fly here. You know why? Because it wasn't about your knowledge. This was purely opinions. I made it abundantly clear and said that I think they should be doing better. I don't know what the argument was, other than the fact that he said I should play more. or play it more, or whatever the case is, and I would have been there. But he told me I can't have an opinion, period. And I have a problem with all of that. Nope.
Well, it's again the nuance thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know who you can have those conversations with. Now you know that, you know, he's.
I don't need to deal with him at all. He came in here wanting to talk about. He came in here with that. I didn't invite him. So he wanted to have a conversation, and he wanted to be the controller of the conversation. And the conversation had nothing to do with your knowledge.
He's a very strong.
Well, you ain't doing that shit. You ain't doing that shit with me. Get the fuck out. I don't give a fuck. He said, I don't give a fuck about nobody. You know, I don't care about some random dude in his space. Then you don't have to be here, sir. You don't have to be here.
Makes sense.
And that's what that's what it boiled down to. I don't have any ill feelings to him, other than the fact that I just feel like he's kind of weird for even dealing with saying the shit that he said as a full-on adult. You know what the implications of that is, to sit there and tell somebody you don't have an opinion. You can't say it because I played more than you. That was the most juvenile thing I've heard.
Well, the thing is that it's very pervasive throughout the community. So, I mean, you know, he's not going to be the last. So, if that's how you feel, I mean, he's not going to be the last.
No, I don't care about that. I know how to deal with it and keep it moving. Last person, I'm going to let DJ in, and then we're good to go.
Gotcha.
What's going on, DJ?
What's up, man? See, boy, I be wanting to turn up just like you, boy. The God in me be having me to hold back, but nah, bro, the homie, man, he passionate, you passionate. It just this your show though, so folks gotta respect the grind. Like, you know, you want to keep it on task and on point, you know. Yeah. So
I mean, like I said, it went on way longer than what I wanted to, arguing with people. I hate that shit. That's why if I do a space, I feel like I don't even want to open it like that, because it's like I have to argue with people on my own opinions.
And that
you make your own space with your own opinions. You can.
Exactly.
It's free.
Exactly. And that's what
you know what I mean. You could even feel free to talk about my opinion and say that how wrong I am. I'm cool with that too.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's why
you can't force me. You can't force me. Like I said before, he made no sense, and I let him talk because you don't make any sense. In their reality, in their world, they truly believe, right, that no one can have a say in it.
Exactly. I said that the other night. I let it rock because I wasn't. I can't get like that because I know that'll go against my spirit. But you're right, and that's why, you know, y'all saw what y'all saw, because I ain't backing down off it's my opinion, and I say my opinion, and I'm not gonna always be right. But damn it, I'm gonna stand on it.
Yeah, but no, that's an opinion. There's no right or wrong. It's what you believe.
And if you want to unfollow me or whatever,
I didn't say that was a fact that Nintendo had to. It was just clearly I believe that they should.
And people got to get out of their feelings, man, when you speaking on your experience with a game or what you want in a game. Like, everybody ain't gonna have the same experience. You might play a game or boot up a game and nothing happens. I might boot up a game and everything can go wrong, right? You know what I'm saying? Or I might want to see something in the game, listen, like you want to see something in the game. I want Nintendo. I told them the same thing a while back. Now, you know what I'm saying? Everybody wants everybody to conform to what they doing, and they want to expose people and whatever. But it is what it is, man. So
that's why the world is what it is, because you sit there and you want people to fall in line with your own belief. Guess what? You're not the creator of this fucking reality, and everybody has their own fucking say in it. Exactly. That's the bottom line. You can't get mad at somebody for having their own opinion. That's life.
And y'all,
you know, people nowadays,
and y'all can run and go tell them that I said it.
No. And that's
But
what
I
I
ain't gonna.
said. What I said,
But
and that's what I said too. Like I said, you talk to Chris, go run ahead and tell that.
I ain't finna look. I'm
I
not
don't
finna
do no indirect shit.
I'm not finna turn up nobody else no more, man. I did all the turning up I'ma do for this year.
Look. You
I
had
ain't
your
saying
situation.
nobody else's name.
Look,
You ain't finna
you
come
say
up off of me.
you had the situation where somebody look. It will always default to my opinion. Unless I call it facts, it's my opinion.
Exactly.
And you can't dispute it. If I feel like the game's buggy, it is for me. If you liked it, you enjoyed it, you took it, that's good. That's good for you.
Exactly. But I like I said, I turned them up, man. I couldn't go ham like you went ham just now. It messes with my spirit when I do people like that. It on one hand of it, I'll be like, man, I should go ahead and body bag them. But the other half of it is like, no, let them bury themselves. And they after a while, bro's like, damn, we done been here all night. That's on you. That's on you. But
That's
I'm not
why.
saying nobody else's name. I'm not finna turn nobody else up because all they gonna do is go over there and yeah, man, you know how we did Killzone, woo, 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 woo. So and in turn, I be playing mental mind games with people, man, because people be thinking that they be winning some shit and they don't be winning shit or stopping shit. You know what I'm saying? They don't be winning shit or stopping the damn thing. So it's just like my bad, y'all. I got them over here at my people house. I'm gonna get I'm gonna get slapped, but whatever. Um, you y'all better look. Y'all better go check them last people 10, 6, 7, 10 years ago. They call themselves hating on me. They ain't stopped the damn thing. Go ahead, listen. My bad, dog. I just had to say that. So yeah, let them do their thing. Let them rock. Let them do what they gonna do. But it is what it is.
Listen, this is all your fault for arguing with a grown ass man with a fucking Animal Crossing profile picture.
Oh, don't do don't do it like don't do
Nah,
toxic
no,
like that,
listen,
man.
I'm a different breed of
Don't
nigga.
do toxic. Don't do it like that.
Listen,
No. I can't let
that's
you
your
get off
homie.
on him like that, man.
That's
No,
your
don't do that.
homie. That's your homie. Listen, knows I'm a different type of nigga. Fuck that nigga. He's a bitch, and you can tell him I said it.
Oh, don't do
I
it.
don't
No,
like the
don't
nigga.
do him. You ain't gotta do him like
I
that,
don't
man.
like the nigga. I don't like the nigga. He's a bitch. I don't respect him. He got an Animal Crossing profile picture, and he think he better than everybody. He need to shut the fuck up.
Oh,
And you can
damn,
tell him
don't
I
do him
said,
like that.
and you can tell him 29 I said, unblock me and get into the space like a man. If not, shut your fucking mouth and don't come in my man's space no more, acting like you acting like you fucking Miyamoto. Cause you're not Miyamoto, my nigga. Don't come in this space acting like you fucking Miyamoto no more, nigga. Unblock me and see what's up, nigga. See about it, you
Damn.
funky dog head bitch.
Oh, damn. Don't do it like that, man.
No, that's all I want to do. I want to wrap this shit up. So there's that. It is what it is, man.
Man.
Hey, look, it is what it is, man. I didn't disrespect him. He came in here, disrespected me, and then you want your fucking cronies online, you know, sending tweets because I kicked you out of the fucking space because you didn't want to be here.
Yeah, he
You
got a
didn't want
couple
to.
He got a couple boys that gonna go run and tell him. So they get ready for that beef to cook. That's why I ain't even go in because I don't be wanting the beef to cook because I don't be wanting to turn people up.
Cook
So
what? What we cooking? Ain't
they
nothing
gonna
cook.
let it cook and it's gonna be that's how they run that's how everybody run their numbers up, man. If they piss somebody off and then you get mad, you respond and you keep on going and everything. That's why, like I told you, sometimes it's best to just, you stand on what you stand on and you let them keep going and burying themselves. Because after they get that,
I didn't do anything other than the
no, I
fact
know
that
you didn't. I'm just listen. I'm just telling you. Sometimes it's be like, all right, cool. Let them keep on going. Let them keep on and just let it rock and let it keep on going.
look. You can sit there and say let it rock, and you cannot be direct and whatever in your spirit. I'm a Christian too. I didn't have to cuss him the fuck out. You just got to get out my space. That's the end of it. I don't need your approval for my own opinion. I don't need it. I don't need your approval. It is what it is. What you gonna do? Run and say that he had an opinion? You believe that shit? That's crazy. He said that he feels that way.
Hey, I just shouted you out, man. Dion just had me on his podcast, so I shouted you out on there, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know, I
I'm
shouted
just
you out
saying.
over.
I'm just saying, bro. Like
Shout out Dion.
that's what it is, man. He sat there. He said he feels like Zelda needs to look better. That's crazy. He don't even have it. If I said that Horizon needs to look better without playing it, that's what I think. If Horizon came out looking like fucking Zero Dawn in 2022, I would be pissed and probably wouldn't have fucking played. Like I probably wouldn't have picked the shit up like that. That's my standard though. If you have a lower standard, that's cool on you. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if that's how you feel about it, that's how you feel about it. You can feel however way you want to feel like.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're not going to do is you're not going to come to me, look me dead in my fucking face and say that I can't have an opinion. What kind of fucking socialist, communist shit are you running here? I can't say nothing about it.
Hey.
You have all the excuses in the world, like you have stocks in Nintendo. I found a leaked thread that Nintendo couldn't really do it because they said that what they say? Hold on, let me check my archive. Oh, here we go. They said that they were going to make something, and guess what? It's crazy because it's going to have nearly PS4 graphics. Bitch, that shit was fucking 10 years ago. Why would I want that? Nearly a 10-year-old graphics.
Listen. With the Steam Deck, it is kind of like that, but they fool you because of the processing power and all of the specs and everything.
I don't care. That's the point. You keep trying to rationalize it. I am not trying to play no 10-year-old looking game. I'm not trying to do it.
I'm with you, big dog. I'm with you. I'm with you.
No, but you trying to explain to me why with graphics. I don't need no explanation. I don't need an explanation. Let me finish.
No, all I'm saying
Let me finish. I don't need an explanation for why the graphics are ugly. I don't need it. I don't care. I don't care why it looks the way that it looks. I don't want it.
Yeah, no, I was just saying they finessing everybody. They
can finesse whatever the case is. The Steam Deck is a decent piece of kit. It is.
Yeah, it is. I'm just saying for
what you want it to do. It's a decent kit for what you want it to do. You want it to be on the go PC, and that's a good thing. I don't want any handheld. If Sony said that they're going to make a handheld tonight, I still wouldn't buy that bitch. I don't have a need for handheld anymore. I'm not a fucking teenager that jumps on a fucking bus. I'm not a fucking elementary or a middle schooler that's in the back seat of my fucking parents' car going on long road trips. If I'm driving somewhere, I'm driving. How the fuck I'm gonna play the fucking handheld? And my job, guess what? It's a hands-on job. I can't play it anyway. When I want to play my games, I want to go home, disconnect from my job, and play my games and chill with my homies. With a full TV, full 55-inch TV, I'm in front of that shit. I'm sitting in my game chair. Why the fuck do I need a handheld with a raggedy fucking below 1080p screen? For what? To me, it sounds crazy to me for you to want a fucking 800p screen and you sit on your fucking sofa in the same fucking room, unless you are married and she's watching Desperate Housewives and you don't have the fucking TV. Then it would make some sort of semblance of a sense. Then it would make sense. But you can't tell me I have a big ass fucking TV and you gonna tell me I have to play on a fucking little ass screen to make it feel better, so I can't see the Jaggies that much. Huh? You niggas are wild, man. No, the Vita was badass, yo. I ain't gonna lie. I want it. Look, I just can't. I have a Vita. And I didn't use it like that. I still have it. Got me talking in this damn space crazy like this. The fuck?
Stop arguing with grown men that play Animal Crossing.
Who said that? Who said that? 2099. Oh man, they gonna say all sorts of shit, man. How
You know
someone is-
what though? 2099, he's still a youngin, bro. He's 22. You know what I'm saying? He just, you know, hey, don't go on too hard, man.
Listen,
I tell him that all the time. It's like you can't change how people feel, man. So we had a little disagreement a while ago, but we got an understanding, and you can't. I tell him that all the time. I say, man, you worry about you, you'll be great. But he was fired up and passionate how I was back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And when you get to squabbling and arguing with grown men, you gonna have to get in that. You have to be in that ring or that fire, and you know you ain't gonna always get to speak. So the best thing he could do is make him some content, make him a space, make him a podcast. But he ain't really passionate about that. I feel like he would kill it. But if a person is telling their opinion, you can't change their opinion, though. And that's what him and a lot of other people got to get through their head, that my experience is my experience. What I want is what I want. And if other people is reporting on it and I'm speaking on the facts, I'm not going to speak on fiction. I'm speaking on facts and my experience. I ain't speaking on nothing that ain't been confirmed. And that's Big Kills on talking.
that's all respect, but you know, if you're gonna be a 22-year-old young nigga and all that, what you have to understand is that don't feel like just because you over the internet you can say whatever you want to, like, because you're not finna talk to no grown ass men a certain way. Like, you're not gonna come in my dog space and be cussing and talking over top of niggas and being disrespectful. And then when a nigga boot you or a nigga mute your mic, you run to another nigga space and start saying, "Oh well, he's a fucking retard and he's this, that, and the third." Like, you don't do that, because
they gonna do that all day. That's why, like I say, me and Listen just do it different. I let them I let them knock themselves out. Basically, that's what I did the other day. I let them knock themselves out, because if you give them
that's some passive ass shit, man. Check those niggas. Come on, let them run themselves out.
But what I'm saying is they gonna keep it going, right? They'll come back, or they'll be in another space.
It don't matter. If you're gonna stand hills deep in the shit, stand hills deep. You wanna sit there and try to be diplomatic to fucking people for what reason? Get them the fuck out of here. Be diplomatic to whom?
No, I'm just saying in the long, as far as
they are nobodies. Like my friend said, these niggas are web browsers online, yo. They mean nothing at all.
No, I'm just saying, because like I was saying the other day,
you still going to say what you're going to say, man. That's okay, man. You do.
No. Listen. I'm just saying the long game.
You want to be Mr. What long game? What is the end result? What long game?
No. I'm saying when you doing.
No, what long game? What long game?
The long game is right. Is if you're gonna be doing this seriously as your thing grows, right? You don't want to put yourself in a position where
the long game is your fucking social media print. The fuck! I want you to understand something. Me as a 38-year-old man, you want to know what gets people to like you? Is being yourself, not neutral. Yeah. You trying to make friends with fucking people? I guarantee you, your shit won't grow. You want to listen. Just listen. Just listen. I had all these fucking people like my Horizon videos with no followers. You want to know why? Because they weren't invested into me. They were invested into the fucking videos of Horizon. That was it. They don't know me from a fucking can of paint. When you get followers and people follow you, you want to make sure that's what that goes with any sales. You want people to follow you, not your product, you. They have to be invested into you, your personality. So the longer you take trying to be diplomatic and trying to be friendly, people don't like that shit. I don't know if you know this, but people like drama. They don't like friendly shit.
That's where I differ, Alyssa. Is that
all right then. Let's see. Well, look, you want to sit there. You want to sit there and not be. Oh, I don't want to be drama. Then you're not going anywhere, buddy. You're not. Join
All
it.
right.
I'm gonna tell you right now. If you want to talk about growing your following, go to church and not Twitter. You have a better shot at getting. You have better shot of talking to people if you want to be diplomatic by carrying your ass to church than to try to get these fucking heathens to like you. I promise you, it'll be a better endeavor.
Hey, I got a, like I said, bro, I got a plan, and I got basically a plan to bypass all that. I'm just here really just so people will see and everything else what I got going, and they may not like it now, but when I execute this plan, you'll see what I'm talking about, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna give you the sauce.
No, there is no sauce. I know, dude. I've been on this earth and I've been through a lot of shit, not even bad and good, right? And what I'm going to tell you is that you don't go anywhere if you don't show yourself as to who you are, and you not being authentic, and you trying to be diplomatic and letting people burn themselves out. Niggas was kicking your back in. I'm going to tell you that, Killzone. Niggas don't. I'm being honest with you. Niggas don't respect you because of that. And you can say that I don't care. That's fine. But apparently you do care because you're being diplomatic. Stand on your shit. And people will respect you.
No, I'm standing on it.
No, but you saying,
but what I'm telling you is,
but your space was this. Oh, you know what I mean? You know, it is what it is, guys. You know, you can follow me or don't follow. You know what I mean? We squashed it. No, nigga, stand on it. For your little Forspoken situation, I would have been like, I don't need to fucking play 80 hours of this shit. The fucking 2 hours I played of this shit, I don't fucking like it. That's all you need to fucking know. I don't like it. Get the fuck off my dick.
Yeah, well, you know.
I don't need to prove to you about me having a fucking trophy. Nigga, like Chris Righteous tried to pull that shit. Let me see your trophy list. Bitch, I've been playing games way before a network existed.
Exactly.
I don't need to prove the shit.
No, I said that, but see, that's what I'm saying. I said that in the other space. This space is like, all right, now, dude, they came over. So it's like, I ain't even got to, but like I said, I ain't even got to do it because I didn't went through this dance before and cats burnt themselves out. I'm still rolling and did way bigger, way more shit than they did. I'm not talking about that brother, but other brothers. So sometimes you can take the high road, sometimes you can check people. I've done both. And for me, letting them do that, he played himself because he messed up his night. So I didn't have to necessarily check him because he wasted all that trying to
all you just did is remix the same shit that you said 15 minutes ago. You're just basically saying that you let them burn themselves out, and I'm literally adamantly against that.
Oh, okay.
You wasted your own time by letting them burn himself out, and then on top of it, they still talking about you.
I know they still talk. That's the whole point. But
if you talk about, I can't say this because somebody on social media, I want you to understand. I want you to understand this. What's that nigga's name again? That Speed dude. I want you to understand that Speed dude. He was saying the most volatile fucking shit. If you talk about your corporation seeing what the fuck you're saying or your job, I promise you, as long as you don't say anything that's against inclusion or diversity, you're straight. And if you care about these people with their 2,000 or 3,000 followers, who gives a fuck? I know people with 1 million fucking followers.
No, me too. I'm just saying.
Who the fuck cares about these little ass niggas? The fuck?
Nope. But that's what they say. But I'm saying they over there talking. They only popping because they got somebody to talk about. That's what I'm telling you. I'm playing. We playing the same game, but I ain't got to check because all that do.
Look, it's cool. I don't want to.
Listen, Killzone.
I get what you're saying.
I
heard what you saying.
I'm not gonna go in circles and circles, but I just explained to yourself. You being diplomatic, nobody respects diplomacy like that, man. Nobody does. Nobody likes it. So, I mean, you can say whatever you want to say. Nobody likes fucking people that don't want to fucking get their hands dirty. They don't like it. You talking about something I feel it in my spirit. I guarantee you want to know what you don't feel in your spirit? You probably beat your fucking meat. But you're not supposed to do this shit. Don't talk about spirits. And you watching fucking pornography or whatever the fuck you're doing behind closed doors in your closets. Don't try to be like holier than thou. I'm gonna check out all the shits. the way I go. I'm telling you, you will be more respected if you stand on your shit. Like I just stand on my shit. They don't have to like what the fuck I said. It's my opinion. Now get the fuck out my space.
Mm-hmm.
Know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm gonna end this shit. This shit has been running long enough. My apologies.
No, you good, man. Look, it's gonna turn up like you said.